Yes!
Yes,
the
the
ball! Get it!
That's the last song ever. Doesn't even go.
What did you know, 58?
I've heard a song by it.
What year? 58?
62. Still playing by it.
You keep it on.
I'm doing what Kev done last. Keep it on.
keep
Same
it
as
on.
Kev.
The new thing, keep it cheeky, so you happy with that,
Keep
Jake?
it cool.
Aye, it was alright, mate.
Don't know
Cost.
about the card they own underneath it though.
I like it.
That was alright, aye.
You like Gucci, mate, huh?
Zara, mate. I'm a Zara man.
By the way,
Look at this, so the boss man.
Boss, that's what put it on, boss.
that was the wee guy that told me to go in boat and get the Hugo Boss stuff, remember?
Oh, the wee guy in
I was,
Cruise,
by the way.
You got to
late
go back to
today.
Cruise.
Have you returned it yet? No?
I can't find it.
No way.
It was Hydro when I got my
Did
stuff.
you leave it at the Hydro? That's Joe Biden doing it in the old.
Go back to
That's Joe Biden's going to get you to
on
go.
the scooter.
Latest name, yeah.
Couldn't believe that today.
Sorry, lads, I do apologise, being
I
like.
know.
Climate change,
What was it?
Not good enough.
Haircut?
He's ready for what it is?
What was it?
The Hydro's back! Kenny's coming to Hydro.
Ah, you
I'm
watch
in.
it, innit?
Get me in. Pencil
in,
me in,
mate?
aye. Pencil me in, aye.
What, we're going to get finishing drills. You're just going to go up and do a few finishing drills on the
We're
stage.
due a rematch, by the way. We need to get the big man in. No, he won it, was out.
I've got shambles.
When it was out.
Never out.
Video evidence, VAR.
I thought the video actually showed it was in, didn't it?
Nah, it was out. Well out.
Boydie's fat feet was in the line, Matt. Over the line. Boydie's fat feet was on there.
Get the big man in, we'll get a rematch.
16th December to odds.
60.
Unbelievable.
Thursday night.
Christmas night out?
Christmas night, yeah.
Because usually, do you know, it's known through the year that the Friday after that Thursday's the biggest night of the year, but now we're changing it to Thursday this year, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right? Nah.
But it's not going to be a show, it's going to be the Falkirk Board of Directors up on the stage and 13,000 people could just ask some statements, fire statements. How strange at Holy Kit doing that, putting his seatbelt on, sitting in the seat. Bus driver,
Aye,
aren't
mate,
you?
that was a
Kept trying to beat the horn, didn't he? With nothing in front of him. That is a great watch. It's telling Kenny, you need to watch it.
I'll
mate.
watch it.
That's up his street, innit?
That is brilliant.
To be fair, the boy that came out with the statement, fair play, the knowledge.
Aye, but the stats.
It's very, very hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
And the chairman tried to argue it.
Aye, it's done well.
Right, we need to mention Grosvenor Sports again. You heard about these Grosvenor Sports, Kenny?
Not at all. Been away too long.
No, I
mate.
say you
Top
haven't,
of
say you
Premier League.
Yeah. What are we talking about here, bro?
It's where Tuchel got his 3-5-2 for Grosvenor.
Unbelievable odds.
They're now doing the coaching badges as well instead of UEFA, aren't they, Grosvenor?
Aye, it's incredible. And by the way, they're still doing the same odds, mate. Any odds, any bet, any sport.
Good, I like the way
Triple
you
the
done
odds,
that
Paul.
there. Really like the way you done that there.
Before we start,
Incredible.
Kenny Miller's back face 2, he gives an Australian accent.
No, it's like...
Come on, he's great to hear this, Kenny. He's brilliant at it.
G'day, boy.
Speak up, man.
Stop it, shut up. It's so bad. They put it in the spot, wasn't it right? It wasn't the right timing. See when you were at, did you ever hear anybody, the coaching talk about Ange, no?
Not even going to ask him how you was getting on already.
I'm going to get into that. No, they do. They talk about him a lot because he had a right good interview once on when he was in the youth with the young, he was in the youths. Aye, it was the boy for the press was giving him it, and it was going back and forth. He's trying to explain himself. I think they got knocked out of Sarno, they never qualified, and it was a right good watch, probably similar to the Falkirk thing. It was a right good watch, but he's done well. He done well because he's one of the probably the better coaches. One in the league, one in Japan. He's done well with the national team. I think he got the national team in the World Cup then.
Yeah.
He just left, didn't he?
Aye.
So he's
Couldn't
done
wear
well.
that wheelie jumper in Australia, so you'd be fucking sweating that black
Kenny, how
scorcher.
was your,
It's 40 degrees now, scorchio.
how was your time there? Was that amazing?
Loved it. It was initially went to Newcastle, good club. Not a lot of resources, but we've done well. Got Western Sydney, it's a big club in the country. Facilities are a joke. It's a proper club. Love going into there to work every day. Never went great for us last year, to be honest with you. It was a bit of a transitional year for the club. We've probably done well to keep our jobs, to be honest with you. But this year, built a good squad.
What were you
Moving forward.
coaching, Kenny? Assistant manager?
Assistant manager, aye.
To
It's to Carl Robinson. Boy, I played with at Wolves. Robbo, that's what I'm saying. I said to you, aye. Rob was,
Vancouver as well, no? You were at
He was Vancouver. He was
He's
my...
about the same size of four-headed Sai, isn't he?
What, the wee
Can he
small...
be?
A three-head. It's a three-head.
Anyway,
Wait a minute, yeah. Let's not start talking about heads.
By the way, he's not like Robbo. He's not like Robbo.
He's got a forehead.
he's actually got a small forehead, but for some reason he cuts his hair back to give himself a bigger forehead.
I think he has like that, just got it done.
Aye, not bad, aye.
Okay, how did you, see you there, how did you find the
Very serious, isn't it?
I know.
Good lads.
so how did you find the difference we here with the players to their coaching?
Listen, Aussies are pretty similar to the Brits and the Scots. Like they behave the same, they act the same, they love a drink, love a night out. There's just a wee bit maybe, I felt you maybe never meant as much to them. Like there's no, maybe it's a wee bit not as much drive. They're good boys, by the way. There's some really good players across there. So it's a market definitely for that there's good value in. A lot of good players. I thought I've actually threw quite a few players from teams, our team, other teams that are in the league into guys back here that I think could do a job, you know. But it's.
Have you got clubs in Scotland you've told me going to put boys out there?
There's a few boys out there I think could definitely do a job, even down in England. I spoke to a few people about players because there is good players and there'll be good value. Obviously, it's a wage cap league across there, so everybody wants to try their hand at moving to Europe, you know. So there is good players, really good players, but it's getting the opportunity. It's somebody taking a punt on them to give them that chance to come across to Scotland, England, even Europe. They see a lot of guys are going to even like smaller European leagues and that. They would just go just to get the chance.
Yeah.
They just want that opportunity, you know. And there's boys that could do it. But you've got one now in your place.
Cammy Devon.
He could play, isn't he?
No, he came for.
He was Wellington. For your team, didn't he? No, he was Wellington, but he had signed for Newcastle for this year, and then you guys bought him for Newcastle. So I don't know how that's.
Football's not even the biggest sport in.
No, you've got the
Cricket's
NRL,
massive.
you've got the AFL, which is Aussie rules. You've got the cricket. So we're probably about fourth or fifth in terms of.
Did you go and watch all that shit?
Nah, no interest.
See that? Has that made you know you want to go back now?
There's things going on, obviously, in lockdowns. Obviously, the way the world is at the moment, you've got to think again when you're at my age, 38, that you've got to.
38.
When you get to my age, or sometimes it's things that you take a bit of. I mean, I've always been fit with football. I am obsessed with it, love it. It is my life. But we girls going into secondary school. Kids are out of school across there for 4 months now. My kids had it last year in lockdown in the UK, so back here and got the kids into school.
Be honest, so after a weekend with Josh Windass talking to you,
I'm going back. I'm definitely going back.
Surely no.
I went down to see Josh at the weekend. It was good to see him. I've not seen him for ages, but you know, you forget when he's on the phone. You know what it's like. He's on the phone all the time, talking nonsense every other week. That he's.
He tagged me and shit on Twitter. I'm like, wait, tag me in that for.
You get to the stage where you're just like, Josh, go and wrap it, like, and I'm going down to see him. And I've had 3 days solid with him. No, 3 days. I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, mate.
So I was there 3 days with him. I pitched up in his gaff as well. I stayed with him for so. I was staying in the training until 7 o'clock, so I didn't need to go back to him to see him, actually get him to go for dinner with him. But
you're a week late for the podcast as well. Your question last week was everyone you played with throughout your career, who loved football the most? Who would you say would 100% be a manager? You and Waldo straight away, the first two that came in.
Waldo would be the one for me. I mean, I love the big man. He's on a different level. You know what he's like.
And do you think he'll be a good manager, like?
I think he'll want to be a manager, I would say. I think he'll definitely be a very, very good coach. Management's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, Waldo, I've actually not even asked him what he wants to be. I mean, I speak to him every week. Does he want to be a coach? Does he want to be a manager? 100% know he wants to be a coach. But I've not actually asked him, do he want to be a gaffer? I think he will because he'll want that control. I think he'll want to do it his way because he's very specific about how he wants to work and his detail is
it's ridiculous.
Did
Waldo work with Tam Coates at Kelty?
Aye.
You can see that with they two, can't you?
He got into Kelty through Tam Coates. He got through Tam Coates. Tam took him in.
By the way, see talking about the grass part of that, how much did he hate that?
Oh my! You know, it was a joke.
It was a joke, but see, because we ran with it a wee bit to annoy him. It just didn't say he couldn't handle it.
So what's on it? What's that you can be called a grass man?
A grass and a shite bag in your fuck, didn't you?
That's in the sticks though, and it sticks there, and everywhere he goes, and the big man, he kills him. You know, he couldn't be further fairgrass. That's the worst thing.
Mate, I remember when we were younger. We were at the Scotland team, he got pulled up for carrying a gun about Brimhouse in Edinburgh or something, didn't he?
Can you see when you were talking about tactics and this, what was Andy doing?
He tries to put it on to us, by the way, but we would have the brown sauces and the ketchup suit and the salts. He'd be, no, he should be here. I'd
have the pepper. I'd have the pepper.
Do you know Mark Warburton slips when you're there? I think we should play 4-4.
Right, we had a group of. We had like a group though within that squad, didn't we? Where every day we were talking about football.
Liam
Kelly.
Was he in that? Liam Kelly? Was he the goal?
Shotgun loves football. And
who's that?
Liam Kelly.
Oh, is that because somebody shot his hands off at the weekend?
that was Super Alligator at Shotgun Kelly. It must be something back in the so it's just stuck with him. So he's actually my phone is Shotgun. But he's he was right enough, but he was only a young boy, but he loved it as well. But he's no like a goalie. He does think about the game, and by the way, he's a joke. He's a player. By the way,
Is he? What is an outfield player? Is it?
with his feet.
So what would it always be tactics you would talk about? Is this afternoon
Anything
after
could be talking about the training session, could be talking about what we're going to do at the weekend and just how the team could get better in general. We just talk about anything. Or the games the night before was one. We'd be phoning each other.
Well, I'm saying the game, we played when we played Celtic in the semi-final, so me and Waldo were in a room. We roomed together. So it was in Mar Hall. Did we stay in Mar Hall? I think it was Mar Hall.
Tactics board up in the room?
Tactics board? No. It wasn't a tactics board. It was the velvet headboard. So you could make the lines on the headboard. So you go, so see when he's in here, if we can move here, you need to rub that out, Waldo. We need to go again. It's on the velvet headboard that was making.
Was that after he'd been banging off?
So no, it was his son boy.
Windass is the same, don't he?
He loves it.
He talks shite though.
Does he?
No, he doesn't. He knows
Has he
football,
not got a fair idea?
I think he's just one of them. He loves a controversial opinion. So see if he could just fling a wee controversial shit in there to get a debate and an argument. Shotgun is good for that as well. But he was up at Joey Barton. He was world's worst.
He's never talked about defending set pieces on it now.
No. Probably should have. But Joey Barton was obsessed with the fact that Tam Miller was the best player in the world.
I remember you saying
He was obsessed with it. He just says that his record in big games and just big game player, the amount of trophies he's won for Germany.
Do you notice how we christened him Tam Miller? No Thomas, it was Tam.
Tam Miller.
We thought it was Tam Miller.
He knows that Tam Miller's not the best player in the world.
This is, I shouldn't maybe ask this because it can maybe put boys under the bus, but see we use, what's that word, Simon, big personalities. Was there ever any classes?
That's not a word, that's two words. What's that word, big personalities?
How do you spell
it? It's not a big word, is it? It's not the biggest word I've heard.
Was there any, sorry Kev?
But the thing is with that, like big personalities, that's what you want. You want debate,
would you have that?
You want to question it because collectively you want to come to the. Everybody thinks.
You want to work out. You want to come to a solution.
Everybody thinks their solution's the best, and that's why managers will get sacked and players are sitting in the dressing room and think he's not got a fucking clue what he's doing because the player thinks he knows better. So.
Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't.
Thing is,
would Warburton get involved in these? See if he's were talking, would Warburton never come and go, he's a total
big thing. No, big thing, because he was very much, he was an open floor manager. He wanted everything player policed. If it was meetings, see if an 18-year-old wanted to speak, he'd be willing to let you speak. But you're talking about big personalities, like we had a young teammate. So you literally had, I was 26, I was 25 when I signed with Rangers, but that sort of ended up at Warburton, I was 26.
What did you know?
And I was still 30,
You're 30 now, mate.
So I was like I was one of the more experienced players, but Kenny and Waldo was like the two captain, vice captain. That was who us as a young group looked up to.
Right.
So big personalities, everyone would speak, but
they were too.
Real speak obviously came from probably you.
Would you crack any of the younger boys if they came up with all the nonsense? Can I imagine you would?
No, but see, honestly, so he'll tell you, he's played with me for however many years it was. Like, there's a perception, and you say that all the time to me, I can see you can't. Listen, what things done right.
Yeah.
At that football club, there's standards and there's demands that you need to meet. You know, if you're not meeting them, you need to be told. You know, you need to be told.
You never really, again, I wouldn't say you never really hammered a player either.
Never. By the way, demand and ask for better.
Yeah.
But it's not about you're rubbish, you're not doing your. It's not about that. That's not going to get the best out of anybody. You know what? Come on, Andy, we need to be better, lad.
I remember when we played Scotland, was it with Scotland Wales down in Cardiff?
Me and Gaz.
You and Gary Coyle.
God.
You pretended to be the Will.
Tell you one thing, you are on flames.
I know. No notes either, by the way. First thing ever.
I think the best thing people.
We're getting beat 3-0, was it? 3-0?
3-0, mate, aye.
And then obviously he came in with his opinion, because he's got an opinion, which is right. And Gary Caldwell had his opinion just at the time.
No, by the way, you've got it wrong, Goki. Gaz came in.
Wait, what did you call him?
Gaz, Big Gaz.
No, him.
Tyler.
Alright, I thought he says Goki or something there.
No.
Alright, sorry mate.
So Gaz was Faddy and Gaz, if you remember right, we're actually going, because we're getting beat 3-0. Faddy's like, we got to defend these crosses better, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And Gaz like, shut up Faddy, you've got to score the goals, you've got to do this, you've missed a chance, blah. And I went, Gaz, whoa, hang fire here. I went, we're getting beat 3-0 here, pal. F off. I went, oh, Gaz, me and Gaz are mates. Gaz, don't tell me fuck off. Can't tell me fuck off. Fuck off. Oh my God, now I'm ready to go. That's it. So I'm on with Faddy now, and we're at it. George Burley's walking around the treatment table blowing a whistle.
Whose whistle was that?
I actually got any critics on it. I had to head them back, and then I was sitting on the bench. I was like sitting with Charlie Adam, and he's like, come on, Kyle, we'll go out and I'll get warmed up and I'll come on at half time.
You and Charlie were lunching back. Yeah.
He's like, I'll sort it.
See that was centre half, so we've got a centre half at Peterhead, right? No matter what happens is in the game, as soon as he concedes a goal, if Derline will be like at the pitch, go at him, Jace, for fuck's sake, go like, score goals, man! Every time we concede a goal, that's what you're saying, it's like, score goals, man.
But it's the easy thing to do, you know, I'm having a go, well, you're not doing your job, it's rubbish. It's rubbish, and that's what wound me up with guys.
Were you not Rangers at the time? You were Rangers and he was at Celtic.
At that time, when would that have been?
It would have been, and I was thinking at the time that this is a proper fucking old firm. Like, the two of them are mates, because you've always been mates. And I thought, that's fucking like somebody for Rangers, but the care that needed to try and get Scotland a result, and we're just fucking shite, weren't we? Let's be honest.
We're getting pumped. You know?
Did you always say that, Kenny, though? Because even when you were, I remember you said that you were a bit younger, but you still had an opinion.
Well, what I win, that's all it was. And again, I've never claimed to be the best player ever, never. But I work hard, you know, I do things right, you know, train right, decent daily habits, you know, and that's you see boys that are always committed. And at those clubs, like Rangers and Celtic, these big clubs, these wee details make a big difference, you know. And if you've got boys that are abusing it or no living right, you know, you can see certain people that maybe no living. That means they're not committed to the cause, you know. And you need everybody. Yeah. It's not about one or two. You need everybody to be on that same page.
I like it, but I think a lot of managers nowadays, when they enjoy that, big players, old players, having an opinion, I think some managers would struggle with that.
I think every manager would want leaders in their team and characters, but I agree with you in terms of not everyone was like Mark Warburton, where they wanted it. Every player to have an opinion. Yeah. Every player at any point, if they want to speak up and talk in a meeting. No, not if it's done right. Yeah. If it's not done right, which probably in the end it probably wasn't done right, because he still wanted people's opinion, but he still wanted the message to be the same for everyone, and everyone try to work to do the same thing and all agree that what we're doing is the best for the squad that we had, which is probably right. But if you've got, like you're saying, maybe 3, 4, 5 big personalities questioning that, saying, well, why don't we do this? Then that's probably what it.
Opinions are only right if they're going to make a difference. There's no point in an opinion that's not going to be relevant to the cause.
People just talk for the sake of it.
That becomes personal, you know what I mean? It just, somebody will think, oh, well, they three spoke, I'll know who my wee top was. You're like, oh, just shut you.
You were quite vocal, Kev.
I would always have an opinion, but it wasn't an opinion because I thought anybody was playing bad or they weren't doing the right things. It just, sometimes you think, you're on the park sometimes. So when you're on the park, you see things that the manager might not see. You do, you're obviously signing a player coach. And you were saying last week about how you were playing well and you thought that the manager wanted to change the wee system and you were like, no, keep the things the way we are, and you end up getting a result. I think you were 4-1 or something. Sometimes you see things different on a park and a manager might think, and that's okay. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the result becomes the one you want. It doesn't matter.
What age are you, Si?
33.
So you're 33, you're a player coach?
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, every manager will want somebody like that on the pitch. A player, listen, might not have to have the tag of a player coach, but they will want somebody on the pitch who gets what they want to do, can drive them. By the way, when you cross the white line, it's down to players, you know. Yeah. It's down to players and if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys who are out there and they're right on board with what you want, you know, as a manager, you know they players understand what you want, they can drive that for you on the field, by the way. And when you've got things that maybe against you and you've got somebody who's got maybe a calm head, a bit of experience, again, a player coach is ideal because you know exactly what you all have talked about it. You have talked about it before and you know exactly how to kind of manage a game, you know. So every manager would want one of that. It's about how you deal with them, you know, because like you say, it's like, not everybody wants these opinions or characters. They say they do, but when it comes to the crunch, it's like, oh, okay, maybe I actually don't because I don't want to deal with it. But if you manage it right and you're by the way, you're honest enough with boys about what you want and again, honest enough with them, if Big Kyle, I'm not playing you this week. I'll give you the courtesy, letting you know, trying to keep everybody on side. That's half the battle now. Yeah. It's half the battle.
That's like Tam Courts again, though. I spoke to Charlie again. I don't think he'll mind me saying this. Tam Courts is like that all the time. You see anything on the pitch, you sort it there and then. Anything in training that you deny. And that's...
So you can't wait till half time. It may be too late.
I know.
Exactly.
Too late.
Yeah.
You need to do it there and then.
We'll talk about it later, but there's Man U, a prime example of not having leaders on the park yesterday. That's where you need somebody to get a scruff on it and say, we've just lost 2 points.
I think Steve Bruce again, isn't
it? Bruce would do a better job right now.
Big
Harry's gone, isn't he?
Let's be honest though, do they have a leader off the park? Because there's
that's ultimately, in the old adage saying, lead by example. Well, the guy at the top's not leading by example, so that's where it all kind of comes.
We'll get to them.
We'll get to them, but we're here for Kenny Miller.
I watched you.
When?
Last night, I was up to 6:30 in the morning watching all his highlights for the season.
How's he been? How's he been then?
Mate, you're wild.
I hardly touched the ball.
No, but you always want it for
the goal. The highlights, the goal.
Didn't you?
That's the way you want to play.
I
that.
mean,
I mean, I can't believe how many times he wants it because obviously I've not seen him.
But the
I thought
fucking,
just
he never gazes it. I've told him that. That's why he'll be sitting on the bench next week.
Mate, that one at Queen's Park's one of the worst I've seen.
Mate, the refereeing decision of
The keeper just sprinted and knocked him down.
Right, another big
Sorry,
landmark
Si.
this week. Sorry, mate. Morelos has scored his 100th goal
Sure,
for Rangers. Who wants to ask Kenny a question about him?
Kenny,
Yeah.
did you ever think he'd get to 100 goals seriously?
Good question.
Yeah,
No,
he's done it well.
no.
Answer,
because
but
I
I wouldn't
thought
ask
he
it like
left.
that, but
I thought he would have left. But he's a goal scorer. You know that. You've played with him for, 3-4 years, whatever it was. He's a goal scorer. By the way, his game's improved.
Big
His
time,
game
man.
has improved for his first year, his second
what
year.
did he need to improve on when you were
He
there?
needed to improve his link-up play. He needed to improve his team play, pretty much. Listen, he's a handful up front. He always has been. He's powerful boy. He's quick. He's mobile. He can score goals. He's going to be a handful for any back lot. But he needed to improve. He needed to tidy that up. There's a lot of times he would get the ball, but he would set counter-attacks up because he would give it away. But he's improved that big time. You see even at the game, the European game, then he's taking things in. He's switching the play. He's getting in the box. By the way, he's always going to. I mean, 100 goals at 199 games. Outrageous.
How do you think he's
It's
improved on that then? What is it? Is that maybe somebody taking him aside and
Defoe, maybe?
When he signed as well,
100%.
do you not think about taking him? Do you not think about taking him and doing a bit?
Yeah, I could help him, that's for sure. But no, it's. I think bringing him in, Jermaine Defoe, was massive for him because it also pushed him. Because if he wasn't playing well, Jermaine would come in and score goals. By the way, when Jermaine plays, he scores. That's
Aye.
it. And there's certain things that I think Jermaine can do that Alfredo. I always think back to Scotty Arfield's goal in the Old Firm game, but Jermaine just overs it.
aye.
Alfredo's not doing that. Alfredo's not doing that. I don't think he would have seen the run. He would have maybe I've been aware. Maybe not that time. Maybe now. But at that time, I said at the time, I don't think that goal would have happened if it had not been Jermaine Defoe that was the number 9 that day. So there's these wee cute things of just being aware of what's around you. And that's something that I think he needed to improve when he first came, but she has. He's got
There is some things, like, if you look at the game at the weekend, and played St Mirren, one of the chances near the end, it came into his feet, great hold up play, and he laid it off to, I think it might have been Roof, but it was too far a pass, and it nearly went out for a goal kick. Roof's kept it in, but had that been a bit better, they probably could have put it back in, they might have got a second goal.
Tapping, yeah.
So it's just the little things that, like you say, tidying up on.
But he's got better. He's got
When
a lot
did you
better.
see an improvement in him?
Every year, people forget as well, he came for the finish, like in
20,
terms of
by
a
the way.
standard, 20-year-old, in terms of the
Doesn't he
standard
speak
of
any
the
English?
year, he's probably never really been tested at any sort of level, so he was always going to need to improve. And to be fair, when he first came in, he was still scoring goals, but it's like Kenny said, it was more his all-round game, which has improved time and time again. But for me, he's starting to date more in the big games now as well. When you look at no last year, the year before, from then onwards, 14
the
goals in a
Porto year,
European
no, aye,
season.
yeah.
Even the Old Firm games, there was a lot of malarkey about the fact he hadn't scored against Celtic, which is big. But he was dominating the games quite a lot. The 2-0 game that Rangers won at Ibrox, the 1-0 game that Rangers won at Ibrox, he ran Celtic's defence ragged. And then once that first goals came, I think he's got 3 Old Firm goals now. And in terms of his all-round play, like he says, he's getting better and better. I actually think last year, it sort of took a wee bit away from his goal scoring last year, similar to what we say with Harry Kane now with this Tottenham team. He's like more like a deep lying forward that
Yeah.
Aye.
all they want him to do now is sort of link up. But I do think it helps because he's playing in that narrow front three when you've got a Ryan Kent, you've got a Scott Wright, Hadji, whoever it is, to run in behind and create space for him. I think he's improving. Listen, we spoke about it last week, he's not in his best form right now, and he actually probably started the first 15-20 minutes of the game. At the weekend they're no great, but that first goal's massive for him because he's always been a streaky player, and I've no doubt he'll go on and score the rest.
There's a guy in Dundee on his knees still praying that you're going to say malarkey again.
Oh aye.
Say it
DC,
slowly.
alright. Malarkey.
Can I ask Andy, you've told us a great Morelos story.
That was a good one.
But Kenny, can you remember any instances that, in the changing room where you're like,
Being a character.
what's this guy up
He
to?
must be a character. He has to be.
But it was,
Oh,
I only had a year with him. And it was the first year, so he was only 20 coming in, never spoke a word of English. I think it helped that he had obviously...
Still Disney, by the way.
He had Big Bruno, he had Daniel, he had all these boys that he could communicate with at the time, so it helped him. But he was pretty quiet in that respect. I mean, you could see he's got a chip there, he's got an edge to his game, and his personality's got that as well. But I never seen too much. Like I said, only had that year with him, and again, to be fair, it wasn't even a year because I was out in April, so it wasn't even a full year. But
Who was under that? Was that Pedro?
that was actually March.
March, is it?
Aye. So Pedro signed him in the summer. So I think Pedro came in the March, and Pedro had signed Alfredo in the summer. It's turned out a wonderful signing for him.
It's a great signing, hasn't it?
How high could he go? You've played obviously down there.
Oh, it's a great question, Si.
Thanks, mate. Wasn't even on the shape, just
No, I
kept it up
realised that.
That's why you're the boss.
sort
mate.
of shit.
That's why you're the boss.
That's a good question. Good.
By the way, he's been linked. How many moves have been linked with over the last 3-4 years? I don't think there's been a transfer window where there's no been speculation surrounding him. So it's not happened yet, though. I don't know why.
Why do you think it isn't?
Maybe Rangers are holding it for big money. They see what Edwards went, they see what Dembele went for, they see what Tierney again, they see all the kind of money that Celtic have got for their players. And to be fair, it's fair enough, they've got to hold on to it, but there'll come a time where, and I think it has, and maybe that's why Alfredo's maybe been affected maybe the last 18 months, because his goal scoring's not been quite the same. I don't think his game was as good. Like the 2 year ago is the one, no last season, the season before. When I'm doing the European nights, honestly, his performances were unbelievable. These are top teams that they're playing against, and he's absolutely running amok against top European teams, scoring goals. I mean, he's Rangers' top European scorer.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
I remember after that 14 goals European season, honestly, so it was like Porto had Pepe at the back.
Yeah, I remember that,
He was playing top teams, top players and ragdolling them. But see that Feyenoord away, 2 each, is arguably one of the best individual performances I've seen.
No, in Holland. No, in Holland. Best individual performance in Holland.
Sorry.
I can't believe you said that.
I got second
Can't believe you've
best.
done that to your mate.
Second best, aye.
I thought it was good Feyenoord at home. I thought he ran
Aye,
them
was.
ragged.
Feyenoord at home, there was an 18-year-old Feyenoord centre-half that played his
Still-
first
he still
game.
bullied him.
See if you're playing Alfredo Morelos, don't try and fight him. He'll
Nah,
bully
he's a
anyone.
strong boy, isn't he?
Honestly, so
Too strong.
strong. And Feyenoord
Buffalo.
away, it was
Yeah.
You're Buffalo.
This reminds me a wee bit of
Aye.
the Amsterdam
This has
kind
been
of
a
setup.
setup again, innit? You motherfucking taxi. I feel pure crushed in here.
Horny, or I think it's
By the way, you must be in a great place now that they're doing a Hydro again.
Well, it's redemption for me.
Aye.
Because the first one didn't go to plan.
What?
No, but it got stitched up. Remember
It was
with the
it was
Joker?
a stitch up.
It was a stitch up. with
Nobody
the
knew
Joker.
it was a stitch up though, mate. Thought it went perfect.
No,
So we're
but
doing Joker again?
no.
You want to come, Kenny?
Where is it? December
16th.
16th.
16th,
Aye, why not?
why don't we do
Floating
the
about, aye.
rematch Read the tennis on the stage?
We need to get it on.
You need to call us
We
out.
need to get
Do you
on.
want to
We need
call
to get
it?
big boy. Well, you need to call us out. We
Wait,
need to
who was the two?
Boy, did.
Used to,
He's
but
boy,
no,
did.
used to bottled it.
You know what?
You got 4-1 and then
Shut it.
shit, it actually were 4-1
Could the
up.
stage take Kevin Boyd on at the same time?
Well, they want it. Just do singles. Innit? Singles.
It's like the Ryder Cup, so we'll do singles, then we'll go doubles, and we'll have you can maybe get involved.
I
And you
can't
can
wait.
maybe get involved.
Oh no, he doesn't play tennis.
No, I like to play the last one. Don't start that nonsense. And you had me on commentating. I was like, John Motson for 2 hours.
By the way, just before we move on to the next thing, what about Scholesy, man? Have you seen
We
that?
can't talk
What I'm
about it.
talking about.
His
through
daughter's
the
toes?
week.
No,
Oh,
the
I've
daughter's
not
toes.
seen
He
it,
says
I've
he
not
got.
seen it.
Mate, he was biting his daughter's toenails.
But he says he got his daughter's toes confused with Phil Neville's arms.
I thought it was only my dad. No, I didn't think he did.
I thought you got it.
That's why they missed it. By the way, I never talked to my daughter again as well for posting that online, knowing the abuse she's going to get.
I know, but whenever I actually seen the face, imagine it was like Gary Pallister sitting at the other end.
Do you know what I think? No, I think what he's done is I'm sure my dad. No, I don't. He didn't bite her toes, but what I think is she's went like that. Damn, my toes fucked. I can't get my nail done. He's trying to get into dates like that. Like wait a second and try to bite it.
Are you serious
No.
about this?
No, but what I'm saying is, I remember my dad. I'm sure it was something to.
Can this go out, by the way?
Aye.
I'm sure.
Was it not bite? Do you know see you seen him biting the pillow?
Aye, that was me. My mum walked in, but
Glass.
Aye.
Aye,
brilliant. We see
good on him,
Dave
go
came
on.
out,
You
innit?
can't
Came
say
out
it in
fighting.
a Paul.
No, do you know what was the right
It's a right
decision?
thing to do, aye.
The right decision, next close me, referee lost it. But no, what I'm saying is, we said last week, and we were very, I was very vocal about it. You need to give people time. You need to give people time. There's no point in, listen, I get Derek McInnes done a good job, right? But if you want to change the whole thing, if you're the chairman of the club and you don't feel Derek McInnes can play that style, if that's your club and that's what you think, then go with it. But then, when things start to go, don't just, after 10 games or whatever it is,
Shite your drawers.
aye,
Change
listen
it.
to me. Stick with it, and I think it was a massive result. I mean, Rangers next week,
on
innit?
that note, like,
Through the week.
on that note, they've not had a good start. They've only went and won that one game, so let's not get carried away with
By the way, that's
Because Hibs are
like-
poor now.
they're
I
like
don't think they beat a great Hibs side. I'm not saying that Aberdeen are poor because I think they're on the verge of maybe getting a run together, but until that starts happening, let's see if they can back it up next week with another one.
Aye, they were due a win, let's be honest. They're
yeah.
1 10. Like, they're due a win. So it's like winning a game.
But
you
to
see.
go, you kick on now.
And they go to
Can't-
Ibrox.
Aye.
Was it Tuesday or Wednesday night? They're at
Okay,
Ibrox.
aye.
So that's.
Can
they're
you
winning there.
big on that? See if you're going to coach and management, or you want to, will you be like proper, this is the way we do it, this style playing out?
Did you date Olivia Kenny? Did you go to Nasty Boys to
tried
play for the
yeah.
back?
But they could though. Declan Gallagher can play Scottish International now. Obviously, went to Motherwell up at Aberdeen. Good player. What Craig Halkett? Good player, can play for fun. Liam Kelly's in goal. He wants to play. He wants to play. He's a different type of goalkeeper, Liam. Brilliant goalkeeper, but Andy's worked with him. Unbelievable with his feet. We had good Sean Byrne was in the middle of midfield. The boy can play. You know, the boys
can play.
So before Pitts can play, you know. So we had boys who could do it. So it was, and they always had that defensive that thing about them that they would die for the cause. You know, they put their body on the line. So it was actually pretty easy to transfer what I wanted to do into it, and it was going great. Obviously, what happens history. The hardest thing about it is scoring goals. You know, because in that top end of the pitch, it's like you can coach people to get in that position, but what you can't coach is individuals' decisions, executions, what pass they want to make, what they see. You know, you can only get them into that area. Yes, and I think you can help, and you can get bodies, and everybody talks about overloads and styles, like you just say. It's just all buzzwords, you know. When you get in that final third, you need people to make good decisions.
But the big boy Ramirez came for a bit of stick. He scored 8 goals or something.
I know, it's a decent return. But I've spoken about it.
8 goals, I
spoke about it a couple of times. The big thing with Aberdeen and Stephen Glass coming in was he wanted them to play a more positive attacking style of football. He wanted them to start bringing through youth players because they had the stats, they hadn't brought through a youth player through the academy for X amount of years. I think he's done that for the start of the season, but ultimately results hadn't been good enough.
Yeah.
But we talk about it with other teams when they're winning games, sometimes it masks massive performance. I think it's been the opposite for Aberdeen. I've watched them so many games this year where I thought they should have won that game.
Yeah, I agree.
They should have won that game, but they've not got a result. So I've always said to you, I still think, based on performances we played this year, take Ibrox and Parkhead away, Aberdeen have been the best team we've faced this year. Hands down, the performance against us. So
Did they play
I don't think they're as far away as the league table looks. And obviously, but listen, first 1 in 10 doesn't look great. So they know ultimately results have got to change first and foremost.
What about Hibs? But rather than announce Celtic next as well.
1 in 6, isn't it? 1 in 6.
What does that come
I don't know what it is. I think what they were good at was their attacking three, and that seems to have kind of waned a bit.
In terms of Boyle,
I just feel like Nisbet's on his own. He's not getting they were all chipping in and they were all creating chances, whereas
we've said before, Doidge is massive for
I
Nisbet.
I think Doidge is the focal point that helps the other two get closer to him, and it makes it a bit easier. But I don't know what it is. I don't know, because Nisbet still looks a threat scorer. Like he still gets himself into good positions, and it's like it was nearly Saturday. There was a lot of good crosses across the face of the box, and Nisbet's nearly got there. But if it's not got to Nisbet, what you want is your right-sided winger coming in far post, and him having the tap in. Well, Boyle's still out in the right wing, and you're thinking when he's coming in, the guy on the left. So I don't know what it is. I think there's a bit of a
Porteous is a big miss there.
Yeah.
Aye, defensively as well, but Hibs were renowned for scoring a lot of goals, and they're not doing that tonight.
Celtic will do them.
But you thought with Scotty Allen coming to the team that maybe create a few more chances, but it doesn't really seem to have been the case, does it?
Nah, well, obviously only really seen the highlights, but the highlights it just shows sort of Hibs with sort of flashes across the box, and nobody really getting on the end of it in terms of creating chances. Didn't look like they had much, but 1 in 6 obviously doesn't look great either, but I still think that's two teams that are going to be.
Stats are funny though, because we're talking about 1 in 6. See, they've lost the last 3, right? So they lost to Rangers again. They went 1-0 up, man down, they get beat 2-1. Then lose to Dundee United, which is a poor result.
Hibs and
at
Aberdeen.
home, and then they lose yesterday. See, before that, we're talking about Hibs being unbeaten. You know, so we're now talking about 1 in 6. So you can spin it, and if you want to make it positive, well, they're unbeaten for 8 games or 7 games, whatever it was. And now we're talking, we've only got 1 in 6. So we're including the games that they were unbeaten in as a negative stat. Yes. They've lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And getting beat at home, it was at home last week against Dundee United, 3-0. It's not acceptable, you know. And that's where, but I'm 100% with you, Kyler. They're no scoring enough goals now.
Why not? But guys like Boyle and Murphy in your team.
They're going through a wee spell where things are not going for them. Like at the start of the season, they were the difference to Hibs. Was their front three. Because they're a really, really good front three. And whether it's Murph, Nisbet, Boyle, or whether Doidge is up there, or Scotty Allen's playing off, there's good attacking players, but sometimes maybe teams have thought, you know what, they're dangerous up front, we need to stifle them, we need to stop them, we need to do something.
Who's the boy they play in the midfield, the one that hold the midfield that's not been playing? Gogic. Do you think he's a miss because he protects the back four and maybe allows the freedom for the more attacking players to get further?
I can only go on what I've seen. I don't know if Gogic is good enough for him.
I think Joe
Newell's
again,
Newell,
Boyd, Doyle,
Hayes playing there, for me, better options.
Joe Newell, I think he's really good, to be fair.
But it's like you're saying what you've just said there, Kenny. Like, as a manager, you can do all the tactics and that if you want, but if your top players are no on for him, then it's tough. It's not like you've got a Man United or an Arsenal where you take him out for a bit and put another one in. Hibs have not got that option to go and take Boyle out and put somebody else in.
Can't take Boyle because Boyle's so pivotal going forward and everything. It brings goals. He's rapid, so he can assist. He just puts people on the back foot, you know. So if he's, and it's not about maybe him being at it. It might just be, you know what, he's a danger man. We need to stop him.
And another thing, you usually your coaching stuff, you're doing your pro lines, and I see the likes of how Hibs have performed, being unbeaten for that length of time to begin the season. Do you think other teams are watching that and looking at it and thinking, right, this is how we stop Hibs being so attacking as the way they are? So maybe other managers are looking into it a bit more detail and nullifying their threats, and potentially that's why they're not maybe getting the opportunities.
100%. It's not like there's a team there to go to try and stop you.
Does Jack Ross then need to tweak it a wee bit?
Maybe.
But it's hard to because he's not got Dodge to go and do it.
It's maybe not about
who the heck would want to be a football manager?
They need to find a way.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you're talking about, players being on the pitch. We need to find a way to win. We need to find a way to if they're going to stop that, we need to find that. We need to attack there. If they're going to stop us there, we attack there. If they want to sit off us, can we drag them out? You know, can we maybe drag them out? Can we be a wee bit more clever? It's not just about like Boyle's rapid. Let's get the ball to Boyle. Him going. Nisbet will score a goal. You know, you need to find other ways. It's and that's the side I enjoy. You know, it's a battle. It's a tactical battle as well. It's not just about having good players. It's about actually recognising what's going on in a game. And maybe I tell you, I thought was great. That was when he was up here. Was Brendan. Brendan was at a different level. Like seeing something in a game, and then making a change. Seeing something was going on in the game and making that change there. Like I always remember the 3-2 game where. Edwards, when
Wide left, didn't
Boyata got sent off. Yeah. And it was 2-2 at the time, I think, when Boyata got sent off. And the camera goes to the benches. Murch is like this.
Oh, that's so right? He's like that, isn't he?
Brenda's like that. Bruni. You can see him talking. And sure enough, whoever it was up front with Eddard at the time.
Dembele, was it?
Dembele, maybe.
I don't think it was Dembele. I don't think it was Dembele, was it? I don't think it was. But anyway, they split. They kept their same system. It was their 4 and their 3, and they just went their 2 up front, but they played wider rather than playing narrow. Yeah. Sure enough, Edward gets the ball for that. I mean, it killed us, you know, it's a wonderful finish. But it was just, he's seen something. But that's a wee example. It's a wee example of them, but he sees things, he sees things in games and he can make the adjustments in game. And that's what we're talking about. Having players that can maybe help with that is huge. Because you don't see everyone, Kyle, you say that, you don't see everyone on a pitch. But it's hard. By the way, there's 50,000 at a game, 20,000 at a game, like, you can't even get the message on. So having somebody like maybe you as a player coach, or having an experienced figure head in the middle of that pitch to help with that whilst the game's going on is crucial.
This is a clinic.
This is a great clinic.
Oh my God.
Big man loves it.
I'm just going to say it like that. Do you mind if I go and get my fucking coaching pad and write this down?
It reminds me very much like yesterday, I don't know if anybody's watched, it's completely different. The F1 with Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and it's when they're pitting at different times, because it's 3 laps going to gain and they end up losing by like half a second or something. It's just when to make the right decisions at the right time in the game, and it can be so significant.
Because they pulled a wee pit stop, didn't they?
They did.
Red Bull,
They pulled it 3 laps earlier than Hamilton, and he's ended up.
You've got a joke in here.
No, he's saying about pulling it. You've pulled it too early, haven't you?
This morning, I like that, man.
Thanks for the day.
That's me. Here, what I was going to say was, Rodgers, had you seen that in Scotland, his style of play?
Listen, there's been unbelievable football teams through. I mean, you think even Tommy Burns himself, that was always a team that people say, oh, that was a brilliant Celtic team to play. You've looked at the Rangers teams of the past, there's been some brilliant teams in the past. I think in terms of coaching and actually it happening through design, I think probably, I mean, for me, he's the best British manager that there is. Again, I've spoken with loads of people, but I'm trying to find, again, I don't know if anybody, maybe I'm doing somebody a disservice, I don't know, is there anybody else that comes up in Britain, a British manager that would come that you would maybe say, oh no, I think he's better than Brendan?
You know, I'm Graham Potter daft, aren't
I?
Steve Bruce's Birmingham team.
Aye, Brucey was up there.
I think Graham Potter, like, right now,
Mexon's Bolton. Mexon's Bolton.
Oh, Mexon's
Allardyce's Bolton was unreal.
Mexon's Grosvenor. Mexon's Grosvenor's taking it.
Brucey's Newcastle.
Bolton were decent. These some players, Joker.
By the way, Moisey?
Catcher.
Moisey's Everton team.
Well, he's
West Ham, you know?
Well, he's West. He's doing an incredible job, An incredible job. But again, that shows you what you're saying about getting time, giving somebody. He's now been on a job. I mean, he was there for a spell before he actually then they got rid of him. Then he's came back, so he's familiar with the club, you know. So he's had a bit of time. Now he's getting.
Have you ever sat down with Rodgers, Kenny?
I had the one night where we were at a charity.
We're talking
thing.
about football.
No. I had a wee chat that night, a good chat that
Was
night.
he
It's good. No, listen, I actually said it was a daily record thing, so Keith Jackson had asked me to go. And I say, who's going? He went, because I think our guy, either Mutz or Pedro was maybe due to go to it, and they shit it and pulled out. So he asked me if I'd go, because they needed somebody, like, for our place to go. So I went. I said, who's going? He went, Brendan's coming. I went, well, if you sit me next to Brendan, I'll come. So I could sit and had a good chat with him, and again, listen, he's brand new, but he knows his stuff.
It's your best mate, isn't it?
He knows
He
his
sends
stuff.
emails to each other. But what I want,
Ask him if I can go to Leicester then have a wee look at how they work.
We're going in, so we'll bring you in.
Yeah.
Right.
aye.
I actually asked Chris Davis if I could, but I think they've got restrictions and things and everything on it, unless he's talking shit.
Never mentioned
Don't
any of
say
that.
none of that.
I'll just walk straight in the front door.
I'll just piggyback with you boys. I'll piggyback with the big hitters then.
What did you? I don't know if I don't know if you've told it. You were in Rodgers' office, weren't you?
Roy does it. He done it
told
in
that?
service day at Celtic. It was unbelievable, mate.
Was
Do you know what? He never ever gets a word out of place or stumbles or everything's just so clear. In
But did you
everything that he
know?
wants.
Not question him, but
Asked him if he would do the same if he took the Peterhead job.
and he said I didn't.
Says he would.
Wow, don't know if you could.
Says it's the only way he knows how to play.
You're doing your pro license now, aren't you? And you get so many managers coming on Zoom calls. Is there any manager about that probably will not know about that's impressed you on that?
It's the four best that we've had for me. Again, it's not just managers that come on, it's analysts. We had a director of football. He didn't like that title, actually. I can't even remember what title he did like.
Gary
Maybe
Holt.
sporting director. no, it was John Stevenson, the boy at Blackpool. Was it Blackpool?
John Stevens was at Celtic with Tommy Burns.
That's
Tommy
right,
brought him in.
correct. He did mention
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
He did mention it. So he was on last week. And again, it's a different type of chat. But in terms of the managers we've had Andre Villas-Boas, who I thought was decent. Jesse Marsh, I thought was outstanding. Again,
Jesse Marsh.
but they're just clear in what they do with that in that franchise.
Red
You know,
Bull,
they know what they do. They know how they're going to do it. So it's clear for a manager. You need to do that. That's how you do it. You know, brilliant. So he was great, but he spoke really, really well.
Was he? You know, have Mourinho now?
Mick Beale was on. I was getting to him. I was saving him for last.
Oh, sorry.
Come on,
Ryan
he's a big
Van Gelder.
hat. He's a big hat. You've ruined it. So we had Mick Beale, who was brought. We can cut him out of that, by the way, and we'll just leave the plaque on. So we'll go. We had Mick Beale at Rangers, who, for me, top level. But I actually stole a lot of the stuff he stole.
What does he do?
I think a lot of people do steal his stuff. People
Listen,
like Celtic in Scotland.
That's being a coach, by the way. You're a pirate. You know,
Yeah.
you just take what
In terms of
take off people and make it better.
Stealing drills or stealing
Absolutely.
ideas. Is it-
Well, no, listen, there's nothing, you know what, there's nothing in football that's getting done that's not been done before. I'll say that. But it's how you, so see, I can give you a drill, Kyler. You're going to do that. You're not going to have the same message as me.
No.
You're not going to do it as well as me, alright? You might do it, you might not. you might not. But it's the, so I can take anything from any coach. I'm not doing it the same. You know, it might be the same drill, but there might be a different outcome. You know, it might be a different message. So you're not replicating the message. You know, you're just replicating the drill, but the drill could be anything. But no, taking it, making it relevant to what we try and do across in Australia. Brilliant. But his stuff was really, really
So
good.
what is so good about Mick Beale that makes him stand out for an ordinary Scottish coach?
You know,
Attention to detail.
I said information.
absolutely.
Information.
I think that his information. Again, I haven't worked with him. You know, I've just said
Information on, I'm curious as well, information on what particular, so say you do like a passing drill that's relevant to getting, say, the ball from the back four to the midfield.
Aye, square in it.
Is it just
there.
No matter where the ball is on the pitch, no matter what position you play within the game, you know exactly your role, exactly the information you need to do within that role, and it's just the picture's just so clear for you going into a game.
But let me say, don't for 1 second think that it's robotic or regimental, because there is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but while we speak, there is a big element of 1v1 outplaying people.
Oh, aye,
He talks about street football. He went to Brazil and worked in. He was assistant manager in Sao Paulo. He talked about, again, that's a completely different style. It's a completely different way of living across there. So he's had a lot of experience, you know. So he incorporates that in his play. So a lot of the wee drills, like the wee 2v2s and 3v3s, they've done. It's
1v1s.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's outplay. You've got to outplay a opponent. If I can go past you, Kyle, or somebody else has to come to me, which opens up maybe a Ryan Kent or a Hadji or a Alfredo Morelos or a Jermaine Defoe, you know. So I just thought, again, I've no worked with him and I've no listened to him in terms of how he delivers the stuff, the session. But what he the way he talked, that I thought, you know your stuff, you know.
What was the first session you said they'd done? It was the big long queue. You would sit him in, he was just thrown at the side.
for the ball. Aye, that was square and then the shooting.
This was a crack he done, wasn't it?
You copied the shape one, didn't you?
I do your shape
shape
one.
I mean, that was the worst day in my, up there, my worst day in my life when we went to his house. We went there to watch a game of football and enjoy yourself, and you used to have got the plates. Remember that? What was it? What did you actually have for you?
It was mere shape. So
No, but
he
what
does
did you
shape on a smaller scale,
Aye,
doesn't
so
he?
he'll literally do shape in a size not much more bigger than this, just because obviously projecting wise, if you're doing shape on an 11v11, it's probably a bit more difficult for him to get his basic. So he literally just brings you in and no bigger than a 5-a-side pitch. You're just moving the ball about where the team moves within the
There's
shape.
nothing worse when you're doing shape and all over the side and you're shouting the boy like the football's like, what's that? Right, what am I saying, boy? Oh, that's all. But a guy who knows what he's doing shape wise, Tam Courts.
Wow.
Aye.
Andy Halliday, what a
victory.
call.
What a call, I told
Dark
you.
horses.
Mate, Dundee United have scored the same amount of goals as Ross County.
Wow.
And they're joint top.
You always say it's about being good off the
joint
ball.
second in the league. So
What's
when I
scoring
say
goals?
scoring
Who's
goals.
got the best defensive record?
Dundee
It wa-
United.
it
They
wa-
did have.
aye.
They've not, so they'll be joint.
It was Dundee United,
They'll
but
be joint best.
that's why I say at the end of the season, except for points, the most important tally within a league is always the goals against. The last season,
I agree.
for first to 12th, it was an order of the who.
Look at this man, the work that he's put in. That's
Andy
impressive.
Halliday.
It's impressive, mate.
You can tell he does the radio, didn't you? That was a quite good answer.
It's true. That's what I said to you now. Mate, the best teams in the world are the best teams out of possession.
Without the ball, definitely,
Chelsea,
I agree.
Liverpool, Man City. No
I get
Barcelona,
Liverpool
Bayern Munich.
yesterday off the ball, mate.
Mate, what, Man U have got some of the best attackers in the world. Why are they shit?
Waste of time there.
Off the ball, they are
Off the ball, miles off it.
Green
But
was
Dundee
having a
United,
shite
obviously
place.
talking about them, obviously it took a penalty to concede yesterday, but I think Charlie will probably tell you better, going off the game yesterday, how organised and solid they were, and their goalkeeper at times was probably the reason they won the 3 points, because they weren't great yesterday. They weren't great. It
What
took,
about his
took
assists?
a bit of magic for Charlie with the right foot cross.
How good was Charlie?
I had to look at it 3 times. I think, oh, who's that on the right wing?
Ball.
It's Charlie McGrew on his right foot. What's he even doing there?
Do you remember
Unbelievable.
Charlie as a kid?
Aye.
Hopeless, isn't he?
I would like Charlie
Oh, no,
up
I was
there, you
kidding,
know.
would you?
But he went to my club, went to Wolves.
So he did,
Nails
that's
came
right.
up this way. So Nails came this way, Charlie went that way.
What a bad move for Wolves that was, eh?
Charlie ended up coming back up the road, didn't he?
But he was playing, he was like a left back then, wasn't he?
He was, aye. Left back. I mean, I don't know, Charlie as a boy, was he further forward? Was he?
He was kind of just
anyway.
filled in anyway, mate.
He can play, you know, Charlie's
Yeah,
a good player.
Nah,
Great cross. Left-footed centre half crossed into your right foot and the right wing to your
incredible.
other centre half
Incredible.
to score. And then he's kind of semi bicycle kick to score the winner.
To be fair, again, we've talked to him already, but Liam will be disappointed with that goal. I
Aye.
think. I know, and he'll not mind us saying that he'll be gutted with that
Yeah.
goal. It looked like he just seen it late. I don't know if it was close to him. He just seen it late and he never reacted. But he'll
The Charlie
be
one?
disappointed. Aye.
Deflection though.
Was that a wee deflection?
Yeah, I took a wee
Ah,
deflection, I took a wee
it's-
lick.
So when Charlie says okay,
It just clanks the boys and it goes. Aye. So well, listen, I'll take that back then. It's no Liam's fault.
Are you surprised how well Tam Courts has done, Ken?
I and no. Like, I think I know a lot about him because of Big Waldo. Waldo had spoke about very highly of him. So again, I trust him. I trust his opinion on a coach and a player for that matter. But it's how quickly he's got the response. You know, she talked about Stephen Glass, wants to play a certain way, wants to his response for his players. Again, I've not seen enough because obviously I've been in Australia, but the results have definitely not shown that he's got that response. Well, Tam's got that response straight away with performances and results. And by the way, they never played. You're not going to play well every week.
Aye.
So, but can you win? Be solid defensively. Don't give too much away. You'll always get chances. Always get chances to score goals. Whether it be through set plays or whatever, you'll get chances. And by the way, he's done great.
And by the way, we're talking about their defensive record. They have a go against every team. Celtic and Rangers will go to Parkhead and have a go.
Yeah.
Get a one each.
Do they try
have
and
a go?
play something? Did Dundee United try and play the same way Aberdeen are trying to play? I don't know what they do.
Nah, I wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
Probably get a bit more of a different style. It's not off the cuff by any
So,
means, but no, they're not as regimented.
Right,
Aberdeen are putting it for the back, no matter the situation.
Yeah.
You seen it was the St Mirren game. St Mirren have actually tried to press them high to stop them from playing out for goal kicks, and they still try to play it. I don't think Dundee United are that type of team, but they're absolutely flying. And to be fair, Slaney can't say I never called it, mate.
Well, you did call
You
it
could be
that.
getting him for manager of the month, Paul.
Oh, I'd love to question him. Really would love to question him. But the one I called was our boys team, Andy. Andy was at 2 points dropped at the weekend, mate.
It was 2 point drop. To be fair.
No, Charlie Adams says he's never had any chances.
Aye,
Except for the
for
bar
hitting
and the
the post and hitting the bar and the goalie made 8 saves. I know. Some shout out, innit?
What a guy.
To be fair, we always critique ourselves first, and we probably know that we weren't at our best, especially in the first half. I think too many unforced
He's on
errors.
fire, the boy, man. He's on fire.
Kenny's when you've got to make them.
This is gold. This match is gold.
See, when I was doing a coaching partnership, he might have the top job, but we need to go there. So,
I don't know if I can compete with you, mate. I'll be so basic compared to the stuff you're
What
saying,
is
man.
it here with this constant chat you two going together?
Are you getting a feeling a bit left out, Paul?
No, but a chairman has contacted us after the show last week. A chairman has
But I
contacted
thought it
us.
was a joke at first to bring me up, but it is happening now, isn't it?
Aye.
I've been left.
No,
Dildo elves.
No, you'll be there. You'll be there.
never leave you. But,
I think this could be it. See if you're just hearing it today, this could be a wee.
He's turned up very professional today though.
Aye,
He's
aye.
Trying to impress
He's
you.
up early, right? He's even fucking brushed his hair. Unbelievable effort for Andy today.
Is that brush?
brushed it,
That's not brush.
brushed it with a balloon, you
Your
cunt.
toothbrush.
Fuck's sake, no brushed it.
Be honest though, was he always kind of one you looked up to?
Aye, I said that. But him
I was
and Waldo,
listening, sorry.
him and Waldo were the two. The end of the day, they'd been there. They've done it. He's won X amount of trophies with Rangers. So when you're going there, if you don't try and feed off these players, then what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Who are you going to listen to?
So who did you look up to growing up?
Okay. No, I loved I was really young when Lambert was there. I loved Lambert, mate.
Did you?
He was centre midfielder, and he was fucking brilliant.
Quinn? Got to be big
Nah,
Quinn,
probably,
innit?
probably Kevin Phillips. Just
Was
because of his dedication to the game. Like he looked, like Kenny says, he looked after himself properly, ate well, trained extra. Like somebody that
players
scored
as well,
30,
Top.
somebody scored 30 goals in the Premiership and he's still out later than some of the youth team players, practicing on his finishing constantly. Kept his cell quite quiet and did things that other people were doing at different times, but at the right time in his life, if that makes sense. And I just thought that if you're aspiring to be anybody, if you get anywhere near to the level of professionalism that guy's got, but obviously he had ability. But nah, him, he
Kenny,
was brilliant.
Any bit about you? Andy said he looked up to you. Who was it you looked up to?
We had boys when I first came into Rangers in 2000. I mean, when I first started at Hibs, it was your Yogi Hughes, it was your Pat McGinley's.
Was
your
Yogi
Darren
like
Jackson.
that as a, look, you'd be
Yogi's
young.
mental, you know, but I
Aye.
tell you, but you just need to look at Yogi. He's a
Sexy,
machine. He's an absolute
I saw a
machine.
picture of him last week, he's
Sexy
playing a
bastard.
charity
But
match.
he's still the same,
Still
by the way.
play.
Still the same. He still works. I see Yogi a bit, and he's still in that gym. Loves the gym. Lived in the gym. He's a bit older.
Isn't he cycling, mate, as well?
He's back.
He's
sad
goes a wee
luck,
bit
isn't
I think he
again.
puts on his
Loves his
seats.
golf.
The saddest
Loves
Why
his
is the
golf.
saddle pointing up to me? It's weird, isn't it?
But no, so it was Yogi, Dan Jackson, Pat McGinley's, these kind of guys. Go
So
to Rangers.
strikers wise, it would have been Dan Jackson, would it? Would he be the
At that
striker?
time, he was a Scot. He was a Scot. I think he just moved to
Scottish
Celtic. I think he was a Scottish international at Hibs. So he was the one you look think, oh, that's the level we want to get to, you know. And then he moved to Celtic.
But would older players talk about football the way you would talk at Rangers? No, wouldn't that happen back then, would it?
I don't know. We never trained guns. You trained and you were off.
Yeah.
You know, you never had a chance to sit, have breakfast, lunch and dinner together. So it's a bit different now. But no, it was the guys, when you go to Rangers, it was, I mean, for me, Fergie was always one. I know he's only a couple of years older than me, but he was the one that drove. He was the one that drove the team. We had guys like Arthur Newman, like Dutch internationalist, and Giovanni. We had big George Alberts, Two-Guy, Claudio Reyna.
Eddie Reyna, what a player.
Unbelievable. But
He was-
understated because of the boys that were
God,
also there at the
he
time.
was-
But what a player, man.
He's one of the best.
You said that, you said that.
You were the Sunderland, mate.
One of the best
Unbelievable.
players I've ever seen.
You thought
Unbelievable.
he was average, didn't you?
What about
Shite.
what about was Nakamura the best you played with?
No.
No.
But what a player.
Aye, he was brilliant,
What a
wasn't
player. What a player. His feet were just like, ball would come, it just stopped to his foot, you know, it was
Who was,
touch
so who was the best you played with?
Telfer.
the tell, yeah. Yeah. No, it's hard to say any. Like, in terms of influence on me, one of the guys, or you're talking about guys who looked up to when I went to Wolves, I was still only 21 when I went to Wolves. We signed Paul Ince.
Governor, you walked in the shop. If you remember?
So it was,
Remember that story?
he was a big influence on. And again, we had Jolien Lescott, a young boy at the time. Lee Naylor was at the place, Keith Andrews, good young boys. And then he came, so he was a Dennis Irwin, we signed Dennis at the same
Wow.
time. Dennis Irwin and Paul Ince came at our time.
Was Irwin frightening?
Irwin's incredible.
You nearly got Julian Lescott to sign for Rangers, didn't you?
It was almost there,
Aye.
It was
That's
done
right, I
by
remember
it.
What was that after Wolves?
It was
Coming
not
through
it was
Wolves,
done.
right?
It came
Oh,
up
this
it
was
at
like
the end.
three,
Before he went to
4 years
West
ago or
Brom.
something,
Before he
wasn't
went to West Brom, aye.
Do you know?
And what happened? Sorry, mate.
No, it's on that. Do you know some? I didn't know this. That actually was true. But I remember at the time somebody told me Joey Barton stoked it.
I could see that.
Oh,
It's true.
no, he was done. It was the signing was done, and then because me and Jolien have been mates since it's been 20 years pretty much. We've known each other, and he came up. We had the gear on and everything. Remember, he was walking about the gym. It was just done. Everything was done, and then the next morning, what's happened, Joe? We went, it's off.
Wow.
No,
So you're right. Because I remember, because Nails used to hang out at Jolie and Lescott, didn't he?
Listen, they two have been like that since
Oh,
they're
right.
18.
I thought he was just saying that.
No, they've been, when I went down there, they two were the two young boys of the team. A couple of bands I thought when I first got doing the music song, and they're dancing in the corner, the two of them before the games, and I thought, these two, by the way, but two of them incredible players. That was a left side of defence, Joel and Nails.
Who was your Wolves manager?
Dave Jones initially, then Glenn Hoddle.
Oh, Hoddle! He's only went and dropped Hoddle in.
Incredible.
We never even got to Mourinho on the coaching thing.
We
So
never even got Mourinho.
Right,
So anyway, he was the fourth one. So you had Andre Villas-Boas, Jesse Marsh, Mick Beale, and we had a question and answer with Mourinho, which was brilliant. And I was pure buzzing because when it got to my question, it was, so Greg Patterson on the SFA, so he and Andy Gould, they're the ones that will kind of do the course. So it was right, Kenny, it's your question for Josie. Oh, Kenny Miller. The guy who never gives the defenders a rest, the pest. I was like, that's how he was. You know the drill, mate. You know, just do what you can.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
I'm pure
That's
buzzing,
unreal.
you know. I thought, fair enough. But these guys are, you talk about being obsessed, these guys are football orphans, you know. So you would like to think he's maybe come across it. Probably, I don't know, probably played against him at some point, but probably I was pure buzzing. So I went into my question, fucking felt $1 million, gave him my question.
What was your question?
Went again, by the way, because he said, you know, a question leads to a question. Hold it, boys, I've got another one for George here. So how do you deal with that, George? But mine was, I think it was, for when you first started, what problems do you come across now that maybe weren't there at the start?
Right.
So, by the way, see the good thing about this course?
Having to do shit like this.
Fucking dink guy. I'm going to talk to you, Bams, by the way. Seriously. So, what we've got is these boys have been at the elite level. Like Mourinho and Villas-Boas and Mixon at Rangers, and you've got Jesse Marsh, who's now he's at Leipzig now, isn't he? These are at the top level. But they encounter the same issues. It's what you encounter. How do you deal with players? How social media issues, you know? So what his thing was maybe certain people, maybe he's fully committed to the job, so he doesn't like it when people are not as committed, or social media stuff, dealing with agents and all this kind of stuff, he kind of alluded to. And then for what he said, I had to, like, how do you deal with it then? Because he's actually even says sometimes there will be players, I mean, I don't know, 25 players, he might have 30 players on his books that you can't like everybody. It's impossible, but you need to manage them. You know, you need to work with them. So it's how you get the best out of them. So I then went again and said, well, how do you deal with these situations? You know, because we're sitting there thinking, fuck, that's the same as us. We've got that here. But maybe this guy's a bit of an enigma. We don't know how to get the best out of this guy. Like, how he's one of our big players, but we can't reach him. He's got the same problems. You know, everybody says, well, again, it's just dealing with people, forget the player. It's dealing with it like the person, you know. That's what, and they all come up with the same thing. So you're sitting there thinking, it's not just us at Western Sydney. It's not just Andy at Hearts or you up at fucking Peterhead or whatever. It's the same. Everybody encounters the same issues, you know. But it's how they deal with it. But his was brilliant because it was a question and answer. So he wasn't saying, "Oh, this is what I do. This is how we do." You were actually able to ask. And by the way, he was fucking really, really honest. Really, really honest.
See, on that, we talked about this last week about like managers and personality and stuff. Would you say that, as well as a coach you can be in terms of your knowledge, you're talking about Waldo yourself, the amount of knowledge you've got, you as a human being can sometimes be just as equal?
100%. He'll tell you, I say, you know, you don't need to be the best coach or the best, like, on the grass, right? But I'll tell you, see if you're a decent enough human, a decent enough guy, guys will still, listen, you might not be the best, right? But guys will still want to do it for you. You know, so they'll still want to run things. By the way, every one of us have played with guys like that, who you thought, by the way, he was alright, he was pretty good. By the way, what a guy though.
Yeah.
What a guy. So when it came to that day, you wanted to do it for him. You know, that's management. That's management, by the way. That's getting a group of players believing in you, by the way, because maybe you treat them right, you be honest with them, you give them a courtesy and a respect that maybe other managers have not, and they want to do it for you. By the way, you might not be great. I mean, I remember, when we started, there was no analysis. When I started, there was no, you were the same. There's no analysis, there's no real time. It was, by the way, that's the team, guys. Go and win the game.
Go and play. I was Tommy Burns was like that, Kenny.
Go win the game.
It wasn't like anything unbelievable, mate. It was basics. You dribbled in and out of cones for 2 hours, but it was just the way he was as a person and how he was as a person.
Tell me somebody you would want to do it for.
Do it for, exactly, mate.
You know, and that's it. So it's not just about, tactics and plans. It's 100%. With the game we're in now, you have to have it. You have to have a way that you want to do it. And again, and I do believe, by the way, that having an actual idea of what you're doing is going to give you a better chance. But see, if you've got that and you've got what Tommy had, then you're on to a winner. But I really think that the way you treat people is massive. You need to get boys on side. I mean, that's the one difference again that probably is now, that football's no change, never will. Players Probably people have probably changed. Societies have changed.
Yeah.
So it's how you deal with the guys.
Keir, I was really wanting to hear about Glenn Hoddle. I don't know what you.
Oh, sorry.
No, but here, just before we get Glenn Hoddle, can I say, was there anybody when you were doing a Q&A with Mourinho? Somebody asked a question every. I went, oh fucking hell!
don't lie, because there's always one. There's always ones of them.
Oh, he's embarrassed us all here.
Oh,
You know,
always
I
ones of them.
actually can't remember if there was like a one of them, but I know when wee Scotty jumps in, with wee Scotty's on
Scotty
the box,
McDonald?
aye, wee Scotty's on. I'm sure he came in and it was. You know, like, but I'm sure he was one right at the end as well. So it was like everybody had been, and it was one he comes up and he was like probably pure scunner that Josie knew me and never knew him. But never mind.
You always get. I hated players like that. Used to ask questions at the
Just
new
for the sake of it, I know.
Oh,
Mate.
Stop,
It's
man.
the ones at training, like, see if you've explained the deal, you're like, right, 2 touch, 2 minutes. By the way, how many touches?
Touches it.
You just heard them say 2 touch.
Oh,
Mate,
see, being on a licence when you know somebody's making an arse at it.
Mate,
It's still,
see,
And that-
honestly,
that is the worst.
see a couple on my one, Doza was fucking brilliant. Honestly, Doza just went.
Dorms?
Just went, Graham Dorns.
what do you mean, just
Just went. Like, he was doing like a midfield support or something like that, so he set up like a 7 aside, he put zones
Who
in
did
it.
you
to try
have in
and
it
get-
by? Who was the runners for you?
Us? No,
Was
we
it
ran
you
it
boys,
for them.
was it?
So
Was
obviously, if
Good
you
standard.
get not just a good standard, but if you get players running it for you, they'll try and help you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
see if you know it's fucking up, and I'm midfield, I'll just let somebody run after me so he gets his midfield
he can
support.
stop it, huh?
But like, his move just stopped working. Honestly, he couldn't get information out, and see at the end it was just a 7 aside. But the best was Xander Diamond. Xander Diamond. Have you met Xander Diamond before? Fucking great guy, but
Yeah.
honestly, I got along with him brilliant in that B licence. But I was staying at Uberdeen. I was actually trying to fuck him up because he was that funny. So he was doing his bibs, right? He's got the 7 bibs out 7 bib because he fucked up the numbers. You need 16 players. He fucked up the numbers for the one before. So the second time I'm like, he's one of the bibs. He's one of the bibs. He's doing his team. Everyone's away at the bibs. He's looking at some man shot. He's checking his notes. He's like, that's that fucked in.
But you see when that happens, your heart's pumping.
mate. But
Where's
see-
that other bin?
I felt bad, but I actually done it because I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
that's
He's just
amazing.
funny, man. But he passed.
So you got
that's
my
what-
fair, aye? You got my fair.
No, he passed. This was in the practice. I wouldn't have done
that's
that.
the
You
honestly.
feel guilty, somebody feeling, because you think he's got to go and turn off phone. I can't do that again.
I know.
Because I
So
did-
many people have
Another 9 days,
I did,
then
mine,
aye.
I know, I did mine at Ayr, my assessment here, and Richie Wilson.
I had it,
Aye,
Wilson.
that's
aye.
right.
Richie Wilson says, Kevin, striker play, component 1, component 2, and then the game. He says, 10 minutes, I'm looking for tops, each one, job done. So I think I did like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, and that was it, done. It was quite easy. And then the next boy came on, and he was like by day, he was a fireman. At night time, he coached the kids, so he came in. 23 minutes later, he's still on component 1, and I was like, oh my God,
that's a lot.
You gave him a wee nudge, didn't you?
just
Say,
wasn't-
"That's right,
it
yeah."
just wasn't walking.
You had a brilliant one on the pro licenses with that as well. Everybody will know Fozzie.
Oh, Fozzie's the
Brilliant,
man, mate,
honestly, what a
Enthusiasm.
guy.
Coming out his arse.
Matt?
Matt Fowler,
What
mate,
a guy, by the way. So we're doing our analysis. We've got a task, we've got an analysis task on the pro license. It says, right guys, you've got 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes to deliver we're in groups of 5, so it's us 5, so I've got a wee bit, you've got, so we've all got maybe 2-3 minutes each. By that's it, it's max. 3 minutes max. So I've got my phone on the side by me like that, right, go. So I'm 3 minutes, boom, done. No ball, move on to the next one. Foz, I timed them because I knew. Foz was at 15 minutes. You could see Google that was on the thing, like,
You can't stop him though.
Brilliant, no, but he's right in it because he loves it.
Yeah.
He's mad, talking about guys who love it, he's mad for it, and he obviously works in Germany, and
Yeah.
he loves it, and he's right on it, but I had him on timer. It was about 15 minutes. He was like,
Felix Magath, he loves Felix Magath.
That was his guy. Did he work with him at Fulham?
Fulham, he loves it. I was speaking to him actually a couple of days ago,
I
Fozz. What a
spoke to
guy,
him
mate.
just before we went into the last event, but what a guy.
See, we talk about loving football, mate. He could be up there.
He's right up there.
Enthusiasm coming out his arse, mate, honestly.
Yeah.
That's
He
your big thing.
And he loves it
absolutely
because he'll obviously, he's been, how long has he been? He's been in Germany now a while.
Yeah.
So he'll throw in the wee German word.
Does he?
Never again. He's brilliant. He's right on it. Bang on it. This is what we call it in Germany. He's brilliant. What a guy.
Did you ever see anybody having a howler?
Said it before Gaz O'Connor was like Xander
That's
Diamond.
genius,
I laughed for the full week with Gaz O'Connor. One day he made up like his mother-in-law died or something, he didn't need to go in. I know that's not funny, but it's like Gaz's. Mate, see his name. If you wanted to write their name on the jotter, he wrote Ross Johnson or something on his jotter.
Why?
Because there was fuck all on it. He wasn't in it. So one day, he wasn't in. Richie Wilson's like, whose jotters is Ross Johnson? There's no Ross Johnson. There's no, our booklets were full, mate. You put everything down, didn't you?
Everybody else is in, but there's one guy that's missing, and there's one guy with Ross Johnson. Gaz Benos's unit.
Mate, not a word written in it. Ours was full. Everything that was said, mate, written in Gaz hadn't wrote
What was
a
the one that
fucking
got
idea.
a defensive drill or something? Or
I don't know why you're giving me defender. I was a fucking striker.
Brilliant. You actually did get some laughs on the coaching course, I know though.
That is a good one. We had the Inverness boys. You know Scott Kelleher, the coach up there?
No.
The heavy guy. He was John Hughes' assistant when they won the cup. Very good, mate. He was brilliant.
was he?
You actually did, you get a lot of surprising ones though.
Yeah.
Well, boys that aren't even really even in football either, like you think.
That's some of the best part on the courses, is getting with the other boys and getting their idea again. You fucking just steal them.
Steal
What's
them,
that again? Give me that here. I'll keep that there
The
for
bloke
me.
first time, Ian Cathro. He met Nuno, didn't he?
He met Nuno
He
on
took him
it.
everywhere, Valencia.
Incredible. What a
I think the
relationship.
G with Waldo. And Waldo, what I found in Waldo was that even at that's maybe what, 7-8 years ago, he was so helpful to the people that maybe hadn't come through a footballing background. He was very helpful, and I thought, you're going to
Good lad.
you're going to help
Check the
people.
set.
I'm going to say to if somebody hadn't played, you wouldn't even have spoken to.
What?
If there was coaches on the course that hadn't played, or
Aye, top level.
you only speak to ones at the top level.
To be fair, but some are fucking hopeless. And I mean,
No, that's
I mean, imagine turning up with a snap.
But you also do get pros that are hopeless as well.
No, I see, exactly. Look at I don't know if the boy Nagelsmann at Bayern. I don't know if he ever played. So it's not to say you need to play to be close. You know what I mean? But I think you need an understanding. But I don't know. Just quickly on this before we move on to Hoddle. See, I don't know if the setup's right at the coaching when it's. I felt I was last,
I was last.
and I swear to God, I was sitting feeling sick the whole day, just waiting and waiting.
Somebody's got to be last.
No, I
can't help but the same
I think the thing about being last is if you are all runners for the people, the boys are fucked. But at the end of the 3 days, if you're last, because there's boys that aren't full-time
and again,
football players, there's
nothing.
fucking guys that are 16 stone that take coaching on Tuesday, Thursday night, so see asking them to run about, it's hard. It's hard when
Big
you're last.
characters to last. That's what they tend to do, Paul.
Oh, that was the one we won. I think we spoke about this. That was the one we won the award, best podcast in Manchester. We had to get the train at 5
Oh, the next day, and you had your license.
5 in the
didn't you?
morning or something. Made it back, and then fucked up. But anyway, Glenn Hoddle, Kenny,
Aye,
hero.
brilliant. Oh, incredible. What a coach. Kate, again, so that would have been what, 2003, 2004 probably. He came in and he had all this stuff that we've been talking about that maybe wasn't it. He was there. He had that back then. Came in straight away, 4-3-3. That's it. We're playing 4-3-3 and this is how we're going to do it. I played left of the 3 up front. We had Carol Court as the 9. But again, because we were strikers, I kind of naturally got in beside him more. And we had Saul on the right.
So who?
Good player. Korean lad came in.
Carl Colt was Newcastle, wasn't he?
Aye,
Wimbledon,
Wimbledon,
what a good
Newcastle.
player, I
Big, what a year. So he was the 9. I played off the left, but again, I would like to be the second 9. Saul was more kind of a wide player, great ability, dribble and going creating, scoring, brilliant. And we just played that way. That was us all the time. By the way, we played some incredible. He's still training as well, by the way. He was still training. He was an incredible player.
Was that always playing out for the back, Kenny?
Again, playing with the back probably wasn't really a thing. He just wanted us to play football, you know. He wanted us to. I can't really recall us going crazy about, right, this is what we need. It was just, this is what we do, this is how we play. And he had the detail back then. It was brilliant. I loved it. Really did.
What was his last job?
Oh, I don't know. You know, maybe Wolves by it.
I think he was.
I was going to say, why?
No,
He went into
he went into QPR as a.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, he went, and I think it was with Harry.
Aye,
Maybe
that's
did
right,
Harry maybe take him into QPR? He went into QPR as a. I don't know if he was just an advisor to, but he had that role at QPR. I'm sure he did, but I think as a manager, I think it probably was maybe Wolves might have been his last
Wonder
job.
why he didn't.
I know, because
Then you
he.
get jobs and
Top level by
He's one of the first ones that you
level.
listen to on the commentary.
Yeah, he's
it's
good.
old school that actually makes you think he's of the modern era.
Yeah.
Like he's an older, he's come from the 70s.
But he had it though, okay, I'm telling you, he came in there and it
But
was.
they all
it was
talk about
straight
him in
away.
terms of his ability, Kane,
Yeah.
as a footballer.
Oh, it was outrageous.
gifted.
He still did train. He still
So
trained.
they join in,
and
aye.
his passing and that was his passing.
Another ex-manager, Malky Mackay. Jay McCarthy.
Toiling and out.
He's toiling, aren't they?
He's toiling and out.
I think they had something like 70% possession
aye.
at the weekend.
You just
But
find these
he-
things
he
go
did.
against you when you're down there. You know, no one a game all season, and then you go and concede the 94th minute, 95th minute at home. Like, by the way, and they should have been. They could have been
missed
out of
a penalty,
sight.
didn't
They
they?
could have been out of sight.
Yeah.
They've scored. They've had chances. They're pressing. They get the penalty. They miss the penalty. All of a sudden, you're 2-1 down. You're 2-1 down. It's big moments and big games make a difference. Goals change games.
Aye, but them as well, they're conceding far too many goals in this.
Like you said, mate, off the ball, if you're not good off the ball, you'll go down.
Aye, but missing the penalties probably it's probably changed the game, innit? Because they go 2-0 up, got something.
And they were in it.
going
It's not
in the
just
second
2-0
half.
up or 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up and in the ascendancy. Like they were at it. They were at them and missing that penalty again. It actually goes the other way now. Like we're still 1-0 up, but we're a wee bit deflated because we should have been 2-0 up, and it gives them a wee buzz. Fuck me, we need to get back at it. We're only 1-0 down. Let's go. Sure enough, within goals, a couple of goals, or 2-1 done.
Lovely 2 big wins in a row,
Yeah, Bruce Anderson on the goal sheet. On the score sheet.
The county, they got Dundee during the week.
That's a big game, man.
Massive game.
Yeah.
They lose that to
Gap.
Dundee, they could be like a right
Trouble,
few
aye.
point at their
Trouble.
You've always wanted to know what he was like as a manager at
Like
Cardiff.
Cardiff.
haven't
Did,
you? He was your favourite manager for the time,
I thought his
wasn't
style
he?
was brilliant. The way he tried to play it. He said, "Yep, no, I didn't." Was he good?
Well, listen, he done a. I mean, Malky was at Watford beforehand. Done a good job at Watford. Got Cardiff. His first year at Cardiff, we made playoffs. Got the Carling Cup final. I missed a penalty and I missed a chance.
In the Carling Cup final, did you?
We got beat by Liverpool in the Carling Cup final. Honestly, it's 1-1. We got a quick free kick. His assistant now, Don Cowie, got on it quickly. Me and him are just a wee quick eye contact. I've just had a wee dart behind the wall. He's gave me it. I've opened up like that. Perfect. It's sitting up there just to be volleyed right into the goal about 14 yards. I've mullered it. I'm away. It's went about that over the bar. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. It's nailed on.
I remember that game.
86th minute. We're away. We've got the cup.
Was it the boy Noon scored for Cardiff?
No, that was even the year after.
Was it against
Yeah,
him?
aye.
Good player.
But aye, we got beat on penalties. Beat on penalties.
Did you miss a penalty?
I missed the first one. Charlie.
No, I tell you who it was. It was Hudson centre half for the
Big, no, it
corner.
was
Mark
big,
Hudson.
No, it was big.
partner.
Turner. Big Ben
Turner,
Turner.
that's
Big
it,
Ben
Turner.
Turner. He hit the top off. He
Aye, that's
scored
right.
the like,
That's right,
extra
he
time
got the
2-2.
way.
Aye,
Aye.
it was like we scored the last minute to take
He
penalty.
was
So
direct, wasn't he, Malky Mackay? He's fit, bro.
we the way we played, like, what we had, it was 4-5-1 pretty much, and across the midfield was all pretty much midfielders. I think Don maybe would play on. In fact, we had the Bull, we had Conway, so he would sometimes be playing
Bull.
off the left, the Bull. But we're workmanlike. We were organised. Again, we got the playoffs, which was brilliant. First year we got the playoffs, got the Carling Cup final, and really we should have won. That's who we scored. 86th minute, should have scored, and then penalties.
Charlie missed for Liverpool?
Charlie missed.
Aye.
Stevie missed. Stevie G missed.
Did he?
Yeah, I missed our first one, and then to be fair, it was still level going to the end. I can't remember who missed the last one. I think it was Stevie G's cousin actually.
Oh, so it was
Oh,
Anthony
was it?
Gerrard.
Aye,
That's
aye,
right.
aye,
I
yeah,
remember
it was.
that.
It was Stevie's cousin missed the one.
Pressure, just bad penalty.
Probably about 2 inches too wide. Post. Keeper's that way. I put it in top corner. Post.
Him too, though.
Opportunity to put a penalty in a cup final. Big time that. Claire's big time.
When he asked, did you play with Parkin at Cardiff?
Aye.
Funny.
Aye. What a guy, man. He's got a podcast now, and he's tried.
Of course, you've been on it.
He's spoke to me a couple of times about going on it. I've not quite made the cut. It's no open goal in it, so I think.
Exactly. Good lad.
You're
So,
too
yeah,
good.
sure.
You're too good.
that'll be the
for
clip
that,
that goes in tonight.
So
Tag him on.
it's no good. What a boy. What a guy. He just never got a game. He wasn't Malky's type of player.
Right. What was his diet like? Because he openly says it. Was it
No,
terrible?
it was a joke, guy. It was a joke. I mean, you could again, you're in the training, so you can only eat what's there, you know. So, but even what was there, they seem to make that no so great, you know. You're like, what's going on here? Like, so I don't know, but no. By the way, great boy. What a boy. What a teammate. Like it was for in and about the place, great. All the boys loved him.
Yeah.
But he was a good player, good goal scoring record, you know. But he's no, he just wasn't a big Malky's type of player.
told
And
you
they signed
before-
me and Ernie, by the way. Signed me
Oh,
and Robert
Earnshaw.
Earnshaw as well at the same time.
Told you
2
before
nights.
their centre half was playing against him. He's like, Parkins just farted through that whole first half.
But with the ending there, the night before though,
That
wasn't it?
probably
Steve Bruce
sounds
tried to
right.
sign him after the game.
Probably sounds right.
What, any other managers that want to ask him about? What about Stracco?
Ah, well, listen, I think Stracco's a good manager. Listen, we had our couple of wee disagreements there, but that's part and parcel of football.
You still speak to him?
No.
No.
I mean, obviously he was I wrapped it with Scotland. He was a Scotland gaffer as well.
How many caps did you finish with?
69.
69. Oh!
Dream of that. But Kenny, why would you just have disagreement? Because maybe you had an opinion on
You
certain
know,
things.
there was a few things. No, but it's not an opinion. I remember one that it was just like wrong, you know, and like I was like, Gavin, I'm doing that, you know, like you're asking that, I'm doing that, and like, maybe I never done it that one time, and I don't want to hear the shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Aye,
Like, I'm like, "Oh, fuck's sake." And I'm sitting there like, no, but that's not how it is, you know. And I couldn't like, when it's coming direct, you're saying something, I'm doing something, or I'm not doing something that I'm doing or I'm not doing, you know. Like I'm like, fucking hell, come on now, that's not right, you know. And it'd be like the gaffer, he didn't like. I mean, again, if you know Aidan, like Aidan was just coming through at that time. Holy jamoly.
That was wild,
Like
that.
Aidan was 18, 19 at the time, and like And Aidan's always had a view and an opinion, incredible footballer. And he used to muller Aidan. You just sit there, you're just a circus actor, you're just there, right? And you know, like, and Aidan's like, you can imagine what he was like, the wee guys stoking the fire inside him, and he's ready to, so they probably had a lot more than me. I think there was a couple of instances, right, me and the gaffer had a disagreement, you know, but it was literally, it was down to that I'm thinking, fucking hell, gaffer, I'm doing that, you're asking me to do it, I'm doing it. So don't say I'm no.
And then you club, what is it?
Fucking
Vinegar, wasn't it?
He loved, see it as well, he loved, that was Aidan's problem, he loved Nakamura.
So he kind of did have
never got on Aki Nakamura, he'd bring the same with you. Jan would never have got it, would he?
Nah, no really. No. Nah. Big signing, big money signing.
What about, obviously, apart from me, because obviously I got your Scotland career going back to Germany.
B game, aye, brilliant. I controlled you, that big man, honestly. I controlled you. I was the driver, man, honestly. Seriously.
Say up one.
Right.
Put me a drama day.
I set your goal up and set the other one up.
You were obviously out of the loop in the Scotland set up that time, and I was flying high. And then
I remember somebody saying, after the big man could be a good striker, and he needs you up front. I was like, yeah, you're right.
So Boydie though, isn't that?
Apart from me, who did you enjoy playing up front of your time in your career? Who do you think helped you get the best out of you?
When I'm young, Mixu Patalainen.
Yep.
Started at Hibs, brilliant for me. Brilliant for me, great for me. I was just a whippersnapper, working off him, quick, direct. Again, I was always probably more focused on going beyond at that time.
I think that's the next guy, surely.
Next one, Mikey Moles at Rangers,
wow.
right? Was incredible. That's when I went there. When I went to Wolves, Nathan Blake was brilliant for me. Similar to Nathan. What a player, by the way. Top player. Still, he's doing a podcast actually doing in Cardiff at the moment. What's it?
Not interesting. Shite. Nobody listens to it. We'll be in the bin next
year. But he was brilliant for me when I went to Wolves. You know, I played with Dean Sturridge and George and Daz at Wolves. We actually had really good strikers there. Any two of us couldn't be doing a good one. But Nathan was great for me. Boydie was brilliant. Listen, we just mixed, you know. But Boydie went to Rangers. And he got in the Scotland squad. Me and Boydie just clicked straight away. And it's like, I don't know what it is, like, when you're against people in your position, I don't know about you, Kerry, but I always got on with the strikers. Always got on with strikers. It's not like, oh, he's fucking playing and I'm not. I don't like him. I always got on with the strikers, you know. Like, these boys, I say the Wolves, we were all pals. You know, Boydie came to Scotland and straight away we just clicked, got on great with him. You know, and then obviously a year later, 18 months later, I was playing up front with Rangers, and it was just a good partnership, you know. You guarantee 25. You're guaranteed 25 a season for Boydie. Yeah. On a good season, maybe 35.
Would you ever lose the plot for not working hard enough for it?
No.
Never, nah.
No, because again, he allowed me to play the way I wanted to play. Yeah. You know, he could, like, I knew I'd probably get round about the 20 mark, right? Between 15 and 20 mark. Some good seasons, it might be you get 25, 30, whatever it is. But I always get you round about the 15. But we're getting 40 goals between us every year. Right. By the way, you've got a chance to win a league. Simple as that. You get
Boydie was finishing just
a joke.
Ridiculous.
Like a joke.
I never really played with I haven't ever played with him, but I think I'm maybe like a Scotland shit like that under 21s he'd be floating about. He just wanted to shoot.
He just lived for goals.
I was a striker, but I wasn't like, I would think about my shooting. Whereas he just did it. It was just natural. It was, he didn't.
Left foot was better.
Left foot bang, right foot bang.
Was it credit for as well? Aye.
Yeah, you played at Middlesbrough, didn't you?
So I remember we played them at head tennis and that Christmas special thing.
You can tell
he just had a swab about him and a confidence and.
And by he's got a character. He's got a personality, you know. So he's fucking. And I love playing with Boydie. It was. I just felt it was a partnership that worked.
Did you room him?
No, because I think we maybe had rooms on our own. So in fact, he roomed with Big Jig.
That's right, because Jig tells a story about the room service. That's brilliant.
Like him and Big Jig roomed together.
You played up front alone a lot, didn't you though?
Aye.
You were good at that run.
Europe,
I loved it.
Did you enjoy it yourself?
I loved it. I always just looked at, you know what, it's me against you two. You know, listen, you again, we've played international wise or Champions League wise, you're playing against the best. Hey, you're better than me. You might be better. You might be playing with bigger clubs, whatever. I'll try and find a way. Again, it's your brain, isn't it? You've got to work it out. How can he's playing against Rio Ferdinand? By the way, I never actually got the better of Rio ever, right? But he's quicker than me. He's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. He's just got everything. He's one of the best I played against because he had everything.
Probably a better finisher than you.
Probably a better finisher than me. Better looking than me. You know, he's put more money than me. You know, he's got everything. He's got all going on for him. But you have to try and find a way. Well, go to another two. Cannavaro, Nesta, they're just as good. Well, I battered them all over Hampden that day.
Wow, love that.
You know,
I was leading to my next question though. Do you think some of the best performances of your career came with Scotland?
some of them, I think that one in particular was a big one for me.
Holland, was it Holland that...
No, Italy at Hampden was my big one. It was superb. Like, you know,
Is that one we got?
You scored against Holland as well though, did you know?
no Holland. Faddy scored Holland.
It was.
I'll take it though. I'll take it though, by the way. Yeah, we've got that.
Best goal?
Yeah, best goal. I mean, the goal's different. Depends what you want. Your team goal, individual goal, fucking.
Mate,
One
that's
that
the
gave you the game- one that gave you
Celtic
the
Park.
best.
I knew he was going to say
One City Parks, but I think it was Spartak Moscow. Counter attack.
Benfica.
Benfica.
Benfica was ahead of him.
Do you know what's probably an undervalued one, I think? And it was a milestone goal. I can't remember what the milestone was. And it was Inverness, so it wasn't a massive game.
100th goal.
100th goal for Rangers. Was it
That
left
was a
foot?
good one.
Left foot side volley? Right foot side volley.
That was a good goal.
Very,
For
very
counter-attack.
Scotland went back to goal. Go one way.
England, mate. England. I scored
Was that England? That was
Aye, that was my last
Wembley,
time.
wasn't it?
But
Wembley.
Well, I scored against Cyprus. I scored a fucking good one. It was a ball over the top for Berra. It was one that's coming over your shoulder. You take the touch and it just lands, and in your next step you drill it. And that was in here.
Well,
That's against Cyprus and friendly, you know. So that was a incredible
What about
goal.
centre halves that you used to play against? Anyone that you used to give a bit to every time you play? You'd have a bit with each other. Big Elvis, nah.
You know, I tell you,
Well.
but Big L again. I hated playing against him because he just fucking cheated the refs.
He used to
time,
follow the
you know.
ball all the time,
And
didn't
you
he?
know, even close to him, the refs gave him everything. He's painted that, you know, going to the corner and just decking it. You know, but I always actually playing against Ian Big Gas when I came back. Played against Big Gas before he went away to Middlesbrough. Like, we always because we're mates and we want to fucking obviously.
He's hard.
There's Rangers. He's a good player, mate.
Oh, that was underrated.
He's physical.
100%.
See, for somebody who's not 6'5", he's 6'1".
But he knew because he had to be aggressive, you know, because he wasn't quick, he wasn't that big. So he had to be aggressive, and he, again, really, really clever. Really,
passer
really
as well,
clever.
Technically, he's good,
Brilliant.
wasn't he?
So we had a wee bit, but you play up front, I say, you play against some of the best in the world when you're playing international Champions League. Like I go through some of the boys that you're playing against in the partnerships, like that one, the Italy one, and then I think it was Puyol and Piqué one night for Spain. We got beat 3-2 in that game, to be fair, but we're 2-0 down, and we got back to 2-2. It was Nazy, and it was an OG. I was actually there just to tap in. The boy defender put it in at the front post. And we were in the ascendancy. I'm thinking, we're going to fucking do them here, by the way. We're going to do them. 2-0 down against Spain. At that point, they're probably world champions, maybe, and European champions, maybe at the time. And we've got back to 2-2. I think we're doing them. We're going to do them. And across it was, remember the fucking Jabulani? Remember the Jabulani World Cup ball? Yeah. That's what we played with. It was fucking all over the place. Big Mick.
Big Mix, Isaac caught, didn't it? I
Big
remember
Mick,
that.
like, he comes and he just misread the flight of the ball by about 3 yards. And it landed at Big Laurenti's feet, and he put it in the goal. But it was completely against the run of play. You know, you're playing against the best teams. Listen, there's nothing better.
Nazy looked Spanish, didn't he?
Aye, I'll be fucking right. You had a name for that, your goal at Wembley against Cahill. You had a name for that turn, didn't you?
What, the Cahill Shuffle?
The Cahill Shuffle.
Cahill Shuffle.
That's what he called it for the next 5 years. The Cahill Shuffle used to do it too.
What was that? That was like Moles,
Moles,
wasn't it?
you know.
Was he be one that you let me off?
I'd seen it when I was still at Hibs, watching Rangers in the Champions League, and this Moles had come here like, what's going on there? Like, what's all that about? And he just left people stranded. So honestly, I would practice it. I remember we were playing the 21s. We played Belgium. I think it was at Dunfermline one night, and I must have done it 20 times in the warm up, just getting used to that type of movement, you know. And now see what happens again, like any repetition, it becomes part of your game, you know. So that night, the reason I like that goal, and I probably put it definitely as one of my favourites, is I was in full control. You know, the ball was coming, I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew I was going to go, and I knew I was coming back. And to be fair, the rest, you got a bit lucky with it. You don't know what's going to go right in the bottom corner, but you get yourself that half yard, and you get the shot off, and it goes right in the bottom corner. So, but I was in complete control. I knew exactly what I was doing. Position. If you watch, I've watched that a million times, as you can tell. It's coming in. Hutch has put a no great ball in, by the way. And I bumped Gary Cahill first early, just to get a wee bit of space. And as soon as it's there, I went, right, this is it, it's coming. And it's bang, bang, and then it's gone. And then nothing better. I had to go for a P-ball, scrap that around.
By the way, how good's this? We'll talk about that while Kenny's away, the Falkirk King.
Absolutely disgrace. Listen, I think it's fine if the chairman and the directors want to do that and let the fans know what's the money going and stuff like that, because they're paying season ticket money and stuff, so maybe that's right today. To put a manager in that position is totally and utterly wrong. It's completely wrong. I couldn't.
Well, why you need to justify your tactics and your team selection?
The one is that somebody's asked him, I want you to tell us how you're going to score goals.
Yeah.
What is
And
that?
I mean, the guy should be, do you know what, Falkirk on in a good run now. That manager should be concentrating on the team, working hard on the training ground. And do you know what, see, in the end of the day, it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out, but that's certainly not going to help sitting there and people saying, how are you going to score goals? Or somebody going like that team, I think it was Paul Dixon, is that right?
Dicker,
Like, how did he not play this one individual game? Many things could have happened
Yeah.
that he's not played or
They don't know about.
do you know what I mean? And maybe the way things are going, maybe it is going to change. I think after that, the European Super League, and getting everyone, I think the fans, maybe they want to know more what's going on. But I think when it comes down to the manager and they need to be protected. And
See that the other night, Paul? That's what they
I
did
feel
the other
sorry for them,
night
mate.
is the one of the reasons why Falkirk are where they are. See, poor decision making from top to bottom, right through the whole club. That was a poor decision to have that and sit. You have a fans forum when you're doing well or doing all right, because then it doesn't come quite a shit show like it did all night. The boy that asked the statement gate, because it's a big thing, that was a great point, all his knowledge, but who's he to ask? Why does he not go and apply for the manager's job or the chairman's job?
he's never going to get it. Is
I
he?
think-
Yeah, waste that piece of paper.
Why allow him into his
No,
opinion?
but I think fans. There's definitely something that they're paying money there every week, so they should have.
Are they not run by the fans?
If you're having a forum, you're going to be ready for that. You know, you have to
But
be
what I
ready.
didn't
That's
like, Kenny, was that they weren't asking questions.
Just having a go at the manager.
Ask you, if you're something you're concerned about, ask them the question and let them in. I felt at times they were just saying this is rubbish, and they weren't really, there wasn't even a question in there. But that being said, the guy's running it. I mean, he's came out at the start. No wonder the fans get worked up. He's came out and says, "Don't boo our players."
Yeah.
I mean, they're professional players. Don't boo the players that are from the ball.
But I didn't know it was when they started comparing their players
That
now
was
to players that had been
shocking,
there in the past. So you're saying Aidan Nisbet's not an improvement on, and they were naming guys that
Petty,
were no longer
rubbish.
at Falkirk. That's not right.
And the staff members were comparing them as well.
Yeah,
And I
that's
thought,
what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the staff members.
Yeah.
I actually felt quite guilty watching it because I thought I was part of that team that relegated Falkirk a couple of years ago. I thought, this is fucking my fault. we had to draw with Falkirk to relegate them. It was
Gary-
either us or them, and we drew and didn't they win, and they've never came back.
But I had answers that I was like, Gary, say this.
Yeah.
See the fact he should have brought up. Well, we're a full-time team in League One. Cover a part-time team. Cover playing boys more than us part-time than we're playing full-time.
But
So-
you took the words out my mouth in general. Falkirk knew they were doing this AGM. They knew they were going to get difficult questions. You need to be prepared for that. You should-
100%.
Falkirk, Gary Holt, Paul Sheeran, the manager, director, they all know what direction they want to take Falkirk in, or they should know. So they should be ready for any sort of questions that are going to get asked. I agree with, like,
See, you say that, Andy. Did they outline that? Because, by the way, that's a big thing. Let the fans know what, like, by the way, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we believe is going to be the right thing to do. And let them know. And see then, that's what you've just said there about the boy with the stats. That's a fact, by the way. Listen, maybe the results are not quite right. By the way, they're still in the shake-up.
Aye.
They're still in the shake-up.
Yeah.
They might want better. The fans might want better because of where they're at in the club that they are. But outline it to them. Let them know. Get them involved. Give them an involvement
Aye.
into what you're trying
It
to do.
started that
It's
way.
not us v yous, by the way. We want to be together. So listen, this is what we want to do. This is what the manager's working on. Us as our directors, board of directors, we believe it. We're going to do it. By the way, it might take a bit of time, but we're going to stick by it. This is what we believe in. Let them under. So then they go, well, why, by the way, actually, we did do that. We did play that way. Yeah, we never got the result. By the way, you're always going to be judged on the results. But, like, it's no, the way it sounds, and I've not seen this, by the way, so I don't even know, but it sounds like it's a bit, they're against you, you're against...
Would have been good for you to watch. Would have been good for you to
It
watch
started that
before.
way. It started that way, you were saying, but it ended up just an open forum.
Yeah,
I just having a go at each other.
Rami.
It was
I
just,
mean, the boys talking about recruitment has obviously for me has been one of the key factors. But when you are in League One and your finances tight at the best of times, you asked them, how do you recruit in the lower leagues?
It's so hard, kid, because so many boys have got part-time wage,
Getting the
but a
balance
good
right.
job as well, mate. So see if Falkirk come say a Midge Megginson at Cove and say, we'll get 800 quid a week. Well, I get 600 for Cove and my job will pay 600. Why would I do that?
Because I've had a footballer phone me, look, because I was looking for a driver for my work.
Gary Hope phoned you?
No, and he phoned me, and I've laid out the line how it works.
Yeah.
but he can't come and work for me because it doesn't tie in with his
football.
With football, because he's got to train Tuesday night, he's got to train Thursday night, he's got to play on a Saturday. I can't give him a Saturday off because I want the Saturday off, and he's no finishing till like 6, 7 o'clock at night. So, Falkirk, it must be difficult, and as well, when you talk about recruitment, you then got to look at your youth. They don't have a youth system.
That's what I was going to
I think
say.
they've got a youth team back now.
But they got rid of it. They got rid of it at probably a key moment.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
decision making within the club's been obviously poor for a while
For a
now,
guy-
which is why they probably made something of that to talk about what they're trying to do to take the club forward and progress the club.
Fans
But
paying money, and he's telling them when you go to the game, you need to support the team. You can't boo them. I mean, what is that?
I mean, they've got a great stadium, great facilities there at Falkirk.
It's a good setup. It's a
That's a good setup.
Good history as well.
Potentially, it's a great project for somebody. If the board and the Gary Holt as the director of football and Paul Sheehan as the manager, if that doesn't work out, then it needs change, and it's an opportunity for somebody somewhere. Whether this is the right one or not, who knows? Kenny's come back for Australia. Chucked himself right into that.
But they're losing loads of money. Gary Holt's ordering 10 buses for the
I know,
away
it's
game.
too
He only
much,
needs
innit?
one.
Why a player
Surprisingly,
a bus each? It's not needed.
But he
driving
drives
them
one up, comes back. Right, we're going on a wee bit about these two together. Or have we done
Aye,
that?
but
Have we
when I
covered
thought-
that?
Kind of covered
Aye,
that.
but we'll
That's not
still.
Man U.
I just not just. To be man, just when I first met Si, well, first time we done the podcast, and I walked in, it was an instant click. I felt there was something very special there. Andy and Kenny, when you first met, was that same?
I couldn't believe we fucking signed them, man. You're saying whole fucking holiday. What's going on here? I didn't want to win the
What were the
league
names
back.
that you were mentioning before?
Fucking hell.
Albert's two guys.
To be fair to the boys, you know, like, you came on trial first time, yeah?
Aye,
Yep,
both
at the
ways,
same
both
time.
ways, aye.
Yep.
Were you on trial?
Not me.
No, me.
Andy,
Fucking hell,
That's the
you
story I
know
told you.
Alright,
man.
yeah.
So-
I thought you said you
what?
were
Andy and Holty came in on trial, and, you know, like, were brilliant. I mean, you know, we talk about teammates, some brilliant teammates that you've played with over the years. We all have. Jason Holt was an incredible teammate, by the way. An incredible teammate. Yeah. He's the type of player that just went under I think the first year he might score 11, 12 goals in the championship, which is brilliant. But he would have created another 11, 12 as well, just by being Holty. Energy-wise, brilliant. He's the type of player that made people about him better, you know, but completely
Training every day.
unbelievable trainer. Great lad, by the way. Brilliant. I love playing with Holty because he allowed me to come off and get the ball, and we Holty would be bombing
In the
beyond me.
space.
Yeah, he's brilliant for that. So we signed A2. And
So all that about Holt and fuck all about Andy, huh?
I'll go get to
Alright,
that,
sorry.
Andy comes in and he's obviously a massive Rangers fan. Like fucking everybody knew that. Brilliant signing for the club. I mean, you must have double figures. We had some, how many players have double figures that year?
First season.
Andy's playing as a 6 and got him by, wasn't he, a 6? Came in again, you went to Middlesbrough, what, as a left winger?
Aye.
Then maybe went to become maybe a left winger, left back, left midfielder. Wobbs made him as a 6. Again, you wanted to get forward. You probably preferred it when Don Ball was the 6
Aye.
and you played there beside
Which
as
was
an 8.
quite often in the bigger games, wasn't it?
It did,
That's what it
aye.
was.
And listen, we just had the boys done brilliant for us. You know, like coming in on trial, like this is the kind of where we were at. We were recruiting at that time. You're trying to, I mean, it's when you went through it actually with Rangers as well. You were part of that recruitment that Coisty kind of threw together a team to try and get through the leagues. Wobbs had a bit of that as well because we obviously had an absolute beast the year before with the Motherwell scenario and getting beat with that thing, and everybody left. I was really, really fortunate I never left as well because I had a trigger in my contract that had already been triggered. So I was the only one that probably survived that shambles, you know. So Wobbs must have signed 10 players. And
There was quite a few.
There was about
I
10
remember when I
players.
came on trial as well, the amount of young players that were actually training. Like it was a reserve squad. Literally it was a reserve squad. It was so many younger players.
See, when you came in, thought that, Andy, right? So again, this is on the other side. Did you think, fuck me, I can get a contract here?
Well,
I can get a contract
I've
here.
told the story here. So obviously when I left Middlesbrough, I was on loan at Bradford. When I left Middlesbrough, I had a contract on the table for Barnsley. But initially to start off, you're talking about the Motherwell game. I was told from my agent, you obviously know Aldo, that Rangers get promoted here, they're getting this manager, this Portuguese manager who's for Olympiacos or something, wants to take you. So I was like, well, brilliant. Obviously that's where I want to go. Grew up supporting the club. Didn't go up. So then I had a contract on the table for Barnsley. But I was like to my agent, it's like, Rangers, man, like, you told me a couple of weeks ago it was an opportunity. I was like, just try with the new manager. And Warburton was just honest straight away and just says, listen, I'll be honest, I've never seen the boy play. So how can I say? I've not seen him play. So we've looked at clips. He looks as if he's done well last year on loan at Bradford and Blackpool the year before. So would he come in and train for 2 weeks? He's like, we've got a contract on the table for Barnes at the time. They were Championship. I think they struggled in the Championship the year before. But Aldo posed the question to me. I was like, fucking right, I will. 100%. So obviously went up in 10 for the 2 weeks, and then the rest was...
Did you play any games in that time? In the 2 weeks?
Tottenham, remember?
So what you want to retire, was it? Playing
No, but what a game it was, man.
Did you do well?
I think we got beat. Did we get beat in
Obviously,
that? Did we get beat?
We get beat 4-3. We get beat 4-3, but
Who
it
was
was
playing
like...
for them?
It's all young boys.
Oh, young
Was it?
boys,
Young
aye.
boys,
But it was like, they still had a couple of... Ryan Fredericks, who was on loan with me at Middlesbrough, who's now... West
West
Ham,
Ham, yeah.
he
Luke
played.
Amos is out there, so he
Luke
played and he's
Amos,
at Wolves now at QPR.
Harry Winks, did he not play?
Maybe aye.
I think Harry Winks might have played, but they had... Oh,
You know what? See the
Players,
trial, so do you know, see when you're on trial, when you get the ball, you hit... That's it.
That's a lot.
See, honestly, mate, right, and this is just the God's honest truth. Again, I'm not saying I'm the best player in the world. I'm not saying a top player, but I knew if I went on trial at Rangers at the time, they'd watched quite a bit for the squad the year before, because they still had young,
know yourself.
had a young team. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think Andy Murdoch was in the midfield
were
at the
there
time.
before, aye.
Shieldsy, Nicky Law. So I knew if I went there and done well, there was a good chance I could.
See,
obviously got a contract.
see both of you, did you find that hard? Obviously, Andy, you being a big Rangers fan, kind of you being on the Walter Smith, did you find that hard that that was Rangers now? There was a lot of young boys there.
Mate, I honestly, at that time, but our team in the Championship was a good team, mate. Honestly, we were a good team. We weren't brilliant. We weren't going to go up next year with that team. And and people forget a lot. Like you're talking about obviously you played in the team a year before, and we're talking about trying to get in and getting results straight away with playing a different style. Wobbs had what, a month, 6 weeks. Came in.
See the thing about that year we played some really good. Listen, I love playing it. I was in, and we should have done that. By again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have done it or it was anything special, right? What we done, we won the Championship, right? We should have won the Rangers in the Championship. We finished fucking third the year before. Like, it's embarrassing. Embarrassing. We should have won the Championship. We should have won it well. By the way, Hibs were a really good team. Really good team. We were in a huge transitional period. We signed 10 players that summer. 12 went out the door, 10 came in, whatever it was. No lot of money spent either. It's not as if there's a lot of money spent. We're building towards something. The biggest thing for me, for when obviously the following year going up, was it does take time for. By the way, a lot of our players on the play in Scotland. It was similar. Like if you look at the Rangers squad now, the coaches and the management team come in 4 years ago now, 3.5 years ago. Never played in Scotland. Never probably had seen Scottish. So a lot of the players, the recruitment was players coming from England. Again, don't know what the Scottish game like. Yeah, Scotland. By the way, these guys try every week against Rangers. It's a cup final. Same as Celtic, Rangers and Celtic Cup finals every week. By them coming to Ibrox and play. Who wouldn't want to come to Ibrox and play with 50,000? By the way, because all you need to do is, son, get on top. 50,000 on their back. We've maybe got a wee chance. You know, everybody's been there before. By the way, silence the crowd. 15 minutes, get through all that carry on. Who wouldn't want to play in that? You know, so it's a cup final. So it would take these boys a bit of time to get used to it. It would take Stevie and his staff a bit of time to work with. And it did. But you could see the progression, and you were in it, Andy. The progression each year went on. And then you get the league, you know. With us, coming back up into that step up, we were making a step up at the time. It was always going to take us as a team a time to get used to playing back at that level. Yeah. And by the way, boys, are we going to play the same way? You know, the message did get a bit diluted. You know, it did get a bit diluted. A few people think, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Maybe we should be doing that.
Players maybe came
yeah, absolutely. And again, because it's result based. Well, it's no, we drew with Hamilton on the day. The
I remember the atmosphere and the build-up before that game as well was...
It was incredible. You know...
it was, mate, like, Hamilton at home, but the atmosphere before it was like...
They had the whole thing on the stand.
Yeah, the whole thing on the stand before the game.
It was 55 across the stand.
Yeah, I remember.
And you were like, I know I've spoke to Wolves about it, and I know I think Pinky talked about it on your show.
Yeah, sure.
That says, we're not ready for this, you know. We need to be competitive, but we're no... By the way, Celtic had acted as well. Brendan walked through the...
Yeah.
Fucking hell, we've already talked about that. Like... It was just, we just needed time to actually get used to what we're actually facing, because it is a step up, the time what we're going to be facing, and it was, for me, it was a bit premature.
See, saying that as well, right, I remember getting slaughtered for a media interview I done, which, looking back, I think every single person with the same thing, where what's the objective going into the Premier League, and it was the fact that we're a young team, we're coming up for the Championship, we need to improve, but the fact of the matter is, second will never be good enough for Rangers, it'll never be good enough for Celtic. Yeah. That got translated in, we're going to win the league. We're going to win the league.
I remember that.
But it's true, so like...
If you say to finish second, you get hammered for saying we've got to finish second.
Yeah.
But in the background, and it's like I said, when Rangers won the league last year, the message was always to stop 10 in a row. Always. Because it was going to be a transitional period for whatever squad it was going up to progress and get back to where obviously the Rangers days that Kenny played in the early 2000s, but see, so that would have been 3-4 years. Your second of it for 3-4 years, never going to be good enough. But what I will say is, even if we finished second, we had to be closer than what we were.
Closer
it was what, 20 odd points.
39 points.
Oh, fucking hell, you've made it sound worse. Cut that bit. No, but it had to be much closer. We had to be more competitive.
What it was is, it was unbeaten season. It was 108 points, I think.
Yeah.
It'll never be done again.
And that
It
squad
was
of
35
players-
wins and 3 draws.
Celtic squad of players was frightening, that team.
I know it's hard to say, but under Warburton, if Warburton had got longer, which he probably should have, could he have been the guy to stop Celtic?
Listen, I think he could have. Listen, it's all hindsight, but it was, if you asked, and I think he did even say it, that when he looks back at his recruitment that year, he would have done it differently had he been given it again. And had he been given another summer recruitment, he probably would have fixed the mistakes that he had made.
Yeah.
You know, and he says that. So, I'm not saying, because who knows? I'm not saying he would have or he wouldn't have. But I believe he could have. Yeah, I believe he could have. And as us as a team, I thought with a good group, with a really, really good group. There was just wee kind of probably mistakes that made things that we did lose our way a wee bit. We went away from what had made us a bit. And you know what? The championship was perfect for us because we had the chance to hone it. Because you're at a low level and we had really good players, you know, really, really good players we had. So we had a chance to work on that style and that the way that the gaffer wanted us to play. And you've seen it in the semi-final.
Aye, it's like you said, like it's that's a question that you can't really answer. But at the same time, did the club progress when Warburton left? When the next Till Gerrard came in? No. So it's like, if you're going to get rid of him, it needs to be somebody that then comes in and progresses the club forward and makes them better.
Well, there was another 18 months of carry on.
But then obviously since, I still say to this day, Warburton is easily one of the best I've worked with.
Yeah.
But then, if that doesn't change, then it doesn't lead to Steven Gerrard, who again is one of the best I've worked with, and it ends up that they win the league and stop
It's a bit like Newcastle where they've taken their takeover. They're going to sack Bruce, they'll bring in a manager. It'll be another 2 or 3 managers before they actually find their feet to where Steven Gerrard is.
That's why you might see boys thinking, it's maybe no this job, it's the job in 18 months.
Yes, of course
you might
it is,
want that.
because like Rangers, the journey from the days of that first game at Brecon City, away back in whatever it was always about just getting back to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And as much as it's difficult for the fans to accept that you're finishing second, 39 points behind Celtic, for everything that's actually happened last year, it's made up for all that. And then now they're flying again this year. So it's tough playing for one of the top 2 because second isn't good enough and you can never say
Somebody's
that.
always under. Somebody's always under because one person's won, one person's not. That's it.
That's
It's the
it.
nature of the
we can't finish. We need to touch on Man United.
This guy wants to speak about Man United.
We have to touch on Man United.
Start us off.
Address Ollie.
No.
See this about, I've heard people saying about how can you blame a manager when they're the worst in the league at every bit of defending, running, closing down. They're the worst in the league at it, right? And this is why you blame a manager, because see that group of players, see if Klopp was the manager of Man U or Pep was the manager, see the players not running, they wouldn't play another fucking second.
You're bang on, mate.
Not another second. For that.
So he's not ruthless enough is what you're saying.
So what I'm saying is, they players, right, they should be ashamed of themselves, 100%. Greenwood walking to the ball, these players, right? But you can't go and sack 20 players. They are good players. He gets sacked at Cardiff. And he shouldn't be the man manager. But the guys like Klopp, Pep, they don't stand for it, and he is accepting it.
It's like Solskjaer's he's not the only manager in the world that manages big egos and big characters, is it? And it's like you said, if Klopp can get the best player in the world right now in Mo Salah running a bit mad, Firmino, Mane, all of them as a team, Pep, listen.
Crazy.
But do they run a bit more? Do they run a bit
City.
more because they're given precise instructions?
Aye, of course, but at the same time, that's asking for hard work. See when Mourinho done that at Man U, the players were fucking
Just chucked
Hard
it.
work signing reaps rewards. And when Mo Salah's running about the park yesterday like a madman, and every other week he's doing it because he's got walking away yesterday with a match ball, he's walking away the other week with another goal, he's being talked about the best player in the world now because he's working hard to get the rewards. The Man U players aren't working hard for. The only reward they're looking to get is.
Are they trying to get Solskjaer?
I think they must be.
No, I don't think they are because they're constantly coming out and saying how good he is and how good a guy he is. But I said this a few weeks ago on the podcast. That's what annoys me about Pep's Man City. Everyone talks about how good they are and the way they play, mate. They kept the most clean sheets in the league last year.
Animals, mate, off the
See,
ball.
out of possession, they all look like dogs.
Foden
Every one of them.
and that. Was it Friday night against Brighton?
And they're better players than that Man U team.
The Barcelona team that was great with Iniesta and Xavi and all them, what did they say? The 3 second rule, as soon as you lose the ball, we've got 6 seconds to get it back. It's a bit like the top teams are doing it.
It's guys like
But
Mason
there's
Greenwood
different-
and
there's still
Rashford,
different
19
ways.
and 21, mate. I
That's like,
look
do
at
you
them and they're swaggering a
Do you
bit.
think that...
There's still different ways to be out of it. Work it. Thomas Tuchel's team's no high press.
No.
His Chelsea team.
Yeah.
But they still work
But
hard.
when it gets to a certain area, then they go
Aye.
press. But Man United's team just 2 yards off everyone all
When
the
the
time,
teams
mate.
were announced yesterday, do you think, when you see like Fred McTominay starting again, you're thinking to yourself,
Mate, but this is what makes me laugh about Man U and England. See if it's Pogba and McTominay, they're saying, you can't play with fucking Pogba in midfield against Liverpool, it doesn't work hard enough. But then it's McTominay and Fred. They put up a stat before the game, McTominay and Fred, when they played together. They averaged like 0.8 conceded. Whereas when it's McTominay and Pogba, it was like 2 point something, so they probably had to play the two. But it's just as a teammate, that like I spoke about it earlier, best teams in the world are the teams that are the best out of possession.
But you
Man
do
U are
feel
that
for they two.
One clean sheet in 20
they
games.
two are
mate.
the best, but they're up against a three in Liverpool.
One clean sheet in 20 games at Manchester United, mate. And it was against Wolves, who battered them, by the way. And they got away with a 1-0
That's
in
a
the
3
last
year
10
down.
minutes.
It's always just been in job 3 years, isn't it? Just took it.
Yeah. Did you think Ronaldo was a good signing?
Aye, I think for what he is now, as a 9, he's a 9 now, right, and he's a goal getter. He's going to he'll score 20 plus goals.
Aye.
He will. That's no doubt. So,
But you need to make it work.
but it's how you get the best out of Ronaldo. You
Yeah.
know what's running about him. I think. Listen, see if you go through the players, they're good players. There's no getting. They're spending a hell of a lot of money over the. Not just Solskjaer's reign, even the previous reigns. They've spent so much more money, and are they any closer? The closest they were probably was Mourinho. You know,
Second.
You know, like, again, because he knows how to
Won
get
the
teams
cup.
to win.
Yep.
He knows how to won the cup, won Europa League. He knows how to get teams to win. Might not have been fashionable, what everybody wants, but what do you want? Sometimes you've got to decide what you want and be careful what you wish for sometimes as well. You want somebody to come and win, he'll win for you. He's done it, he's been proven. Now you want to play the Man United way. Mourinho never played the Man United way, apparently. Well, what is the Man United way? Again, it's back to the good old days. You talk about teams comparing players. It's your Beckhams, it's your Giggs, it's Solskjaer and Keane, it's Rooney and Van Nistelrooys and all these wonderful players that have been through Man United, successful times. Now it's no there. They're not that team anymore.
No.
You know, they're not that club.
You're like,
You know.
see the way Neville is with Solskjaer, that's who you are with Mourinho after, because he's your mate now, isn't it?
Because he's my best mate. I want my best mate. I want to be that. But it's just like, you go for one thing, you go to like yesterday, I mean, Man United can beat 5-0 home to anybody.
Yeah.
Is absolutely unacceptable. You know, and it was, the reason I don't like sometimes criticising players, right, is what you said about, is it because they give specific instruction? I don't know what they're getting told to
Yeah,
do.
you don't know what they're getting
I don't know.
told. Yeah.
Like, the one thing about, and again, I don't necessarily agree with this for Man United. The one thing I think with Man United over the years, the big games that they've been successful, I felt they've been counter-attacking. They've sit back,
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
defended well.
Neville said it
They've
yesterday.
sit back, they've defended well, and because they've got Rashford, they've got Greenwood with absolute pace, and Jesse Lingard throwing it that way, his energy, getting forward, but back in that time. They've got energy, they've got pace. And they think of the games when they've been successful. I think it might have been Solskjaer's first game, but it was at Tottenham they played. Tottenham were all over them. They beat them.
Yeah.
It was just
Like they've done it at Man City,
counter-attack,
they had
Man
it.
City.
They used to beat Man
They've done
City
it
quite a bit.
everywhere.
Uh-huh.
But that's the thing, like, so it's like the Man United way. They don't even play the Man United way.
No.
Mate, I've watched them so many times this year. Villarreal, Atalanta, Everton, Aston
Aston
Villa.
Villa.
Mate, they've been
Second
battered
best
every game.
even yesterday, the first few minutes, quick passing, very quick, and it ends up with Bruno Fernandes.
That
He
chance.
cuts that inside
He
to
frustrates me,
Greenwood. The score, they go 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Talk about opportunities in games that could change. Dundee no scoring the second penalty. Ross Keating scoring the penalty to go 2-0 up. If Man U score that goal in the first few minutes, does the dynamic of the game change? It probably does.
But what
Because then they
happened-
probably sit back in a wee bit more compact and try to do that, replicate that,
Yep.
like you say, the counter attack.
But this is the thing, what are they getting? This, again, is when you have a go, you can have a go at players for no trying. Absolutely, because you can see that they're no running, you're walking, you're no tackling, you're doing this, whatever it is. But in terms of what they're actually doing, we don't know. That's why I'm always cautious about being critical of players about doing something specific, because they might be getting asked to do it, or they might not be getting asked to do it. You know, but there's something no there. You know, you can't get beat 5-0 as Man United.
So do we all agree with Carragher that Man United will never win a major trophy with Solskjaer?
100%.
So I said it last week, mate. I've always said in the podcast, I will never say this person should lose their job, but I'm saying it now. Okay, Solskjaer cannot be the Man United manager. Can he be?
See, Kenny, you saying, sorry, Paul,
Sorry, no,
but the
it was-
last point. See, when you're saying about like they're being asked to do a specific role individually, so I get that. And surely, Kenny, when you're on the park and you see that that's not working, you must be able to speak to your mates and say, this isn't working, we need to jig it a wee bit here. there must be some people on the party to take a wee bit more.
See, I heard that,
responsibility.
but that's hard. What? So, who somebody goes to the full team, right? By the way, we're going to go and do. I don't
But you're not needing the full
against a top team in
You're
Liverpool.
not needing the full team because you've got your back four, you've got a midfield, you've got a forward. So surely, like McTominay could say.
I think the point you're trying to make is right, is that, and it was levelled after the game, is where's the leaders on that pitch, right? Where's the characters? Where's the voices that
I know,
care? By the way, they're getting scudded. Let's be honest.
It's very hard for a player to go right. We're going to go change.
No,
and
it's
play
not about that. It's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
about changing that. It's not about changing because you can't do that, by the way.
No.
You
Yeah.
can't. That's overriding the manager.
Yeah.
But what it is it's where's your voice? Where's your leader to actually, by the way, we're getting done here. By the way, it's 2-0 or 3-0. We need to get to half-time, by the way. The game
For
will
the
be done
next 5
anyway.
minutes.
But we can't concede again. You know, then it goes 4. You know, like, I don't know. I don't think it's changing it.
Can Harry Maguire shout to Wan-Bissaka, "Look, can you stop leaving the back forward and try to press high? Can you just sit in there now?"
But then if
Keep
you've
us a
got the
bit more
manager at the
up back.
side shouting to Wan-Bissaka and keep
I
going
know.
and pressing, do you know what I mean?
That's
It's
what I
tough.
mean. It's-
That's the point.
That's what you didn't know.
That's the point I made. You don't know what
Yeah.
the message is, so we can't say, well, that's been because we don't know. All we're doing is assuming that that's the way they want to play. By the way, are they getting told to do anything? Or we
It looks like it is.
as a team getting picked and going, like I've said, on you go boys,
Go and
we're
play,
playing
aye.
Liverpool, go and play. Liverpool, well, that's not what Liverpool do. That's not what Man City do.
Is Salah the best in the world now?
Yeah. But he's a big living down. He's fucking flying.
That's what I was going to say. He's probably your main.
And he's been at it though for how many years?
Aye.
I mean, so is Salah, to be honest with you, but not quite that.
See,
Haaland.
aye.
But is the Premier League the best? He's
I
doing it
think,
the best
yeah,
league. I'd
Premier League's
say.
the best
league.
Yeah, I'd say.
You take the Premier League,
Well,
I think it puts you in a
do you
wee
know
bit.
why-
Who's side of Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund?
Mate,
Because obviously Premier League's got like 4 or 5 really strong.
You just need to
And
look
then
at
some-
Champions League, mate.
Aye,
Every
they're
year.
the top teams, but then I was fucking looking at fucking some of the teams at Norwich. Fuck me. He could be the worst Premier League manager in history. That boy. Yeah, by the way, I meant
They were better the last time they were in the Premier League.
I don't know what it is because he's obviously got something if he keeps getting them up. But anyway, I've got sympathy for Gary Neville. And I'm going to tell you why, and you're going to hate this. See if you take the Peter Heath job or you take any manager.
No, I
job,
told you I want you to slaughter us if I'm shite.
I'll never.
They will.
You said he's
No, but I wouldn't. I even with Andy playing and stuff like that, I would never ever come in and say like,
Nah, I said the same thing. To be
I
honest.
couldn't do it, mate.
I would
couldn't
be
do it.
honest, but
I
I wouldn't like. Carragher said similar about Gerrard after.
He'd
Remember
been
when he
tough.
came on at half time against Man United and get sent off after a minute? He stamped on Herrera.
Yeah.
Carragher was in
Also-
the studio that day and he said that. He was like, I need to get
Aye,
this
it was
right. It's a
brilliant.
big moment in my
Yeah.
Sky career because, one, I'm not losing my mate. I'm not going for my mate, but I've got to be true. I've got to be right.
But they've also got an affiliation with the club that they're managed. Like, he's got an affiliation with Man United. You're not got an affiliation with Peterhead, have you?
No, but I mean, just meaning be like.
No, I'll come for his mate. If I ever get a chance.
I know you've actually always said that.
You get the job,
Part of the
you
job,
get the job
mate,
there,
aye.
yeah?
No, I don't. If I ever do get come for his mate, that's part of
Yeah,
the job,
expect
isn't
up
it?
to be fair. 1-2 and drew in the last. 1-3 and drew in the last.
1-2, 3, 1. I think.
days, aye,
Early
aye.
days, mate.
There's only 3 points after.
I'll be saying that in fucking.
Do you know what?
April,
I'm a wee bit disappointed, but I've not heard anything about Ange Ball today.
I've not spoken about Ange Ball.
We spoke about Celtic.
What?
Ah, we didn't he? Fucking better by the way.
Serious?
That would be fucking
This guy
challenge.
not even put Celtic on the sheet.
Very poor, mate. But I would just, I think.
Giacomakis.
No, but I think what we all agreed with before the show started that Celtic are the best team in the country at the moment. We all agreed that before the show, didn't we? So, no, listen.
So there's no need to talk about.
No, but honestly, like,
Is that a
we've got
fox?
to talk about it.
No, I think, I said at the start, I think Celtic, at this, when he first came, maybe in the first couple of games, but then you're like, wow, what is this football? It was gung-ho, and it was so exciting, but we're still vulnerable to counter. I think now it's a mere all-round
What I'm
performance.
reading, I'm
Well, you should be
hearing that-
watching, because that's what your job is. To watch the game.
I heard the back two of Starfelt and Carter Vick are
did well.
fucking very solid.
Starfelt came in for a bit of criticism,
we
didn't he?
gave him, but we'll give him a wee bit of credit when credit's due.
we
Apparently-
had a debate on the inverted fullbacks.
Right.
Kenny Burgess on that.
You hate it? I love it.
No, I don't hate it. I think everything's got, if it's done for a reason,
Got a buzzword on it.
if it's done for a reason. Like I was at the Motherwell Celtic game last week, and I'm watching ball and goalie go in and come out and go in, and Starfelt's getting the ball and he's looking at where ball and goalie should be, and he's in there.
Yeah.
And then by the way, he runs there and he gives him the ball as he's facing back towards his own goal. And I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? If it's for a purpose, and I know there is a purpose behind why he does it, but there wasn't a purpose to when they were doing it.
Yeah,
you know, it was fucking wild.
Do you think?
But then they go and do it against Ferencvaros and it was brilliant. But
I know it did.
dominated the game against.
Very good.
Do you think they do it because they have the domination of the possession?
Yeah.
Listen, I
A lot of
don't.
top teams do it. Well,
I don't know why he does it. Why I think he maybe does it again is to overload the centre of the pitch. Again, the only thing I can think of, if one comes in, it allows somebody else to go higher. And it still keeps that, and it gives a heavy overload in the middle of the pitch. I don't know all the intricacies of it. Big word for you, Andy, keep that for next week. It's that's the only reason I can think of, because I'm telling you, when it comes across to the centre back, he's looking. It's where they look straight away, and they're not there. And what it might do is force the wide player to come all the way back, and I've seen it because Melbourne City out against us across there. Like, it's the City group, it's the same kind of thoughts behind it, but then it ends up dragging your wide player away 30 yards deeper. And do you want your wide player to get the ball there, or do you want him to get the ball there?
The fullback tax him, he's not wanting to give him the ball up. There's a time and a place for it, 100%.
And there's a reason behind why they're doing it. I absolutely get that, but I don't think it's come to full fruition yet.
Do you think so? Now we were talking about with Hibs and Doidge, which I think what we spoke about last week. I think Hibs play a certain way, a certain style, but when they've got Doidge in the team, they can change it up a wee bit. Do you think that could be something with Giakoumakis for Celtic?
Yeah, definitely.
I would rather Kyogo up front.
Oh, so listen.
No, I know.
To be honest,
certain games he's saying,
I know what you mean.
No, you're talking about. I think this is massive. Now you're talking about Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers developing a partnership. Celtic are better defensive than Kyogo plays.
There you go.
So that it feeds out through the whole team, because since Hans Postecoglou came in, they want to press for the front. They can't do that with Yetis in the team. Which is when Cameron Carter-Vickers and Starfelt took a bit of criticism 2-3 weeks ago. Yes. Then since Kyogo's came back into the team, do you know why they were solid against Ferencvaros? Because within 3 passes they won the ball back every time. If you're going to play back four.
I agree, Andy. If you're going to play that way, you need players that can win the ball back quick, so that teams can't counter on you 100%. But I still think he needs 5 or 6 players
100%
in his squad to play that way.
Because listen, we're talking about Kyogo and Callum McGregor. See, when they players are out, if they go the same type of quality coming in for them.
I'm drained.
Can I just a player's vote? A player's vote. Who was man of the match today?
Kenny.
Kenny's been doing it.
I'll take it.
Andy for the big words, I think.
Aye, a couple of massive words. He was on.
Oh, heard you said magnified on the radio. Somebody texted us.
Magnified.
Alfredo's performance will be magnified for here on in.
What? Is that a big word?
I would say so, nah?
Think so?
For you,
I'd say scrutiny.
You don't play it, Cam, by every time you do any media. What's going on?
I get messages.
I wouldn't say magnifies it.
You know
Compared to what we're trying to.
You know what you need a magnifier to see, don't you?
Oh, aye. End on that.
Boy, Kenny, brilliant.
That was a pleasure, Kenny.
Always a pleasure, guys.